first place in the South Division second half race and are currently looking forward for the second half of the season as they are currently extending to make better plays as this game will, of course, wrap all the way down. Of course, when you look at the Portland Pickles, they still stand first overall, and heading into this matchup, I believe they'll have plenty to prove as head coach Jim Hoppel's team currently in the second half of the year are second in the South Division, 19-5 record, 7-3 over their last 10, coming off of a 2-game winning streak. Big part of how this game is going to go is most likely the pitching, as the last series of events for the Corvallis Knights has been a strong pitching effort on their half. High ERs across the board for a few of their pitchers, most notably Zion Johnson. Last matchup versus the Walla Walla Sweets, 4 wins, 32 strikeouts, and a 3.75 ER on the season. Although he was sitting out for that series, they will hopefully have him back for this extended matchup against the Pickles, and it should be expected to be a good matchup overall. When you incorporate that into this, there's going to be a lot of high stakes in a matchup like this, although they are sealed and locked for a playoff appearance. I wouldn't be surprised if they were going to be able to make a deeper push depending on how this performance goes, showing off how they're going to be able to perform down the stretch and also perform at a higher level than you would hope to see if they're able to perform at a advanced standing today. Now, of course, top averages today, when you look at the team, their batting average leader with Blake Wilson hitting a 328. Most likely will be in the starting lineup. Once we figure that out, we'll read it to you before the start of the game. We are expected to see a ton of big play today as we're going to see the Pickles in their deep play out in the long field. They play well deep, and that's going to have to be a situation when you're the Knights that you're going to have to see how you can play that and be able to extend it and make things happen in that capacity. For the Knights, of course, their season has been a very successful one. After the start of the year, as I mentioned previously, they began the end of the season strong in a second half surge, but the first half of the year was not as they would hope. That second half, the first half had them go 17-10, finishing second behind the Pickles, a pretty big deficit. But in the second half, of course, they surged and were able to take the lead. And now this series could have a lot of ramifications overall for how these guys will play out, as we'll eventually see them maybe rematch down the line of the postseason. But for the starters, there are implications here for definitely how both teams can perform and move forward with the way their seasons will end. Now, when you look at the Pickles specifically, they, of course, have had a spectacular year sitting first overall in the South Division. Again, second half that wasn't as promising as the first, but still nonetheless one that we can look back at and say, hey, they still definitely tried their best to keep the lead. Only currently sitting 1 loss behind the Knights heading into this series. Again, on a 2-game winning streak. Their last matchup was a success, but at the same time, you would only expect them to get better as the series moves on. And as long as we can expect to see them play at a higher enough level, we can expect them to stay in this matchup and hopefully round out this successful 3-game series with a win and end their season on a high note. Well, of course, it all comes down to this as we see the Corvallis Knights and Portland Pickles shortly take the field. Portland, of course, is looking to break this series lead, or extend their series lead, as they already took down the Knights earlier in the season. Andy right now, but I think he's doing something right now, but we're going to be up like 6:30.
First pitch, 6:35. Out. Coming to the plate, number 2, Joe Wright.
I did give the starting lineup before we began the matchup.
Number 9, Tony Otis.
Second, Brooks Avery at short, Trey Swigert at third, Quinn Dufort in left, Brock Kettleson in center, Cole Katayama Stahl in right. The quick working Froling delivers strike 1 to Tony Otis and now delivers strike 2 to Tony Otis. The Portland Pickles have established themselves as the number 1 seed for the purposes of the playoffs. They have set a single-season West Coast League win record. The strike 2 pitch to Otis is pulled fair down the left field line into the corner. Quinn Dufort chases it down in foul grounds to the left of the foul pole, and into second base cruises Tony Otis with a 2-out double. And Bryson Glasgow, Oregon State bound, will come to the plate, and the reigning West Coast League Player of the Week. Glasgow with some slight breezes you can hear blowing through our microphones, blowing out to left center field on a beautiful Monday evening. Gorgeous day today in the Mid-Valley, and a huge series, kind of a precursor perhaps, because there isn't, to be honest, a great deal on the line. Positioning has been established for the playoffs, but the Knights do want to win the series and set a tone for a potential meeting later in this month in the postseason in the South Divisional Championship game, a game that the Portland Pickles won last year en route to their first ever West Coast League Championship and ending the Knights' streak at 7 consecutive titles. Glasgow with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Swings, and it's a fly ball to right field and playable for Cole Katayama Stahl. Cole moves over a few steps to make the catch and retire the side. In the top of the first inning for the Pickles, who are the number 1 seed, the Knights are the number 2 seed. There isn't a great deal on the line except who's going to win the second half in the West Coast League. Portland won the first half and thus is the number 1 seed. But these two teams are ultra competitive, and we expect a good series, even if there isn't, quote unquote, a lot on the line to settle any sort of standings or issues this week. There really isn't. because even if the Knights win the second half, Portland will remain the #1 seed with the best overall record. A 2-out double for Tony Otis. He's left stranded at second. We go to the bottom of the first. Right-hander Ari Klingman begins to loosen up. We'll be back in 90 seconds on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio.
Time with me, DJ Chameleon, only on KBVR Corvallis.
The real team, and that guy is an intern on their staff. It was set up. It was staged. The kid still had to hit the home run, though. Where are we at? Where are we at, Brian? Ready? Okay. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Ari Klingman goes to work on Knight shortstop Brooks Avery and misses high. Bottom of the first, no score. The Pickles with a 2-out double from Tony Otis. Now Ari Klingman with a 1-0 pitch. A little bit high, ball 2. Jacob Fisher calling balls and strikes with Hudson, and I forgot to ask, it was the question asked many times. Boucher. I'm going to go with Hudson Boucher, but it could be Boucher. The 2-0 pitch, missing high and inside to Brooks Avery for ball 3. Brooks Avery, the Knight shortstop, leading off. Brock Kettleson on deck, the center fielder. Thomas Ferraggiaro batting third at second base. Beautiful night, good crowd coming in. The Pickles setting an attendance record as well as a win-loss record. The 3-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 3-1. Winning coming in at 42-9. And thus, if they win a game, that will be a new single-season record for wins at 43. The Knights would have to sweep the series to maintain a share of the single-season win record. The Knights won 42 games in the 2019 season. The Pickles have achieved 42 wins, single-digit losses, and the Pickles have incentive to at least take one. The Knights know a sweep is the only way they can retain a share of that illustrious mark in the history of the West Coast League going back to 2005. The 3-2 pitch to Brooks Avery hit foul off to the right and out of play. Ari Klingman and Connor Stewart, the battery for the Pickles. Josh Schleichhardt, Oregon bound at first. Grafton Stroop at second. Joey Wright at short. Bryson Glasgow, the other corner infielder, Oregon State bound. Braden Wooldridge in left. Tony Otis in center. Tanner Griffith in right. The 3-2 pitch to Brooks Avery is fouled away again, this time into the forbidden zone, the construction zone, where the poor urchins are barred from entering. At the end, when that construction project is finally done, they are going to find multitudinous baseballs. Could probably set up a little souvenir shop and make a few bucks. The 3-2 breaking ball down and away to Brooks Avery. Ball 4. Brooks drawing the walk, and that'll bring Brock Kettleson to the plate. Avery has had just an amazing season for the Knights when it comes to base running. He's 28 for 28 in stolen bases. The Knights themselves with 165 steals to lead the league. The Pickles themselves they've stolen 94. but that's a minuscule number by comparison to what the Knights and what they've done with the 165. Avery gets his lead held on by Josh Schleichart. Brock Kettleson stepping in, and Brock takes high, ball 1-0. Kettleson in the midst of a brilliant summer. Stanford-bound young man, the freshman at .333. 2 homers, 25 runs batted in, 34 stolen bases for Brock. He's also pitched very well, including yesterday down in Springfield in getting the win in extra innings. A throw to first and Brooks Avery back. Kettleson has appeared in 6 games, 8 2/3 innings, 19 strikeouts. He got his first win yesterday as the Knights completed a sweep at Hamlin Sports Complex. Kettleson, a high pop foul. The wind will push it into fair territory, and the catcher, Connor Stewart, a few feet in front of home plate in Fairgrounds, makes the catch, 1 away, and the batter will be Thomas Ferraggiaro. Ferraggiaro also has been an excellent contributor all summer long. He comes in at .306 with 30 runs batted in, and he has stolen 10 bases during the course of the summer. Ferraggiaro climbs in with Brooks Avery at first, 1 out, bottom of the first inning, no score. The first of a 3-game series to close the 2025 regular season. A throw to first base, and once again Brooks Avery back. Susan has requested, and I will share with Susan and anyone else, the playoff formatics for the West Coast League vis-a-vis the Corvallis Knights and these Pickles as we go here. A throw to first base and back to the bag. Again goes Brooks Avery. Brooks trying to get the measure of Ari Klingman. Avery has not been caught this season. Just phenomenal. 28 for 28. Got a little bit of the Davey Lopes stuff going. I think Lopes once stole 38 straight. A long hold by Klingman comes to the plate in a first pitch strike to Thomas Ferraggiaro. 0-1 the count. 4 teams from each division make the playoffs, so 8 of the 17 teams in the league are in the postseason picture. And in the South, the teams have been settled. The positioning of those teams still to be determined here the next couple of nights. I'm going to ask from the Orange Media Network, Nick Munoz, who joins me. Did you go through all of that in your pregame tonight, Nick?
We did. We were talking about looking ahead and about how well they've been performing, and this definitely does have implications toward the playoffs with the 2 of them possibly being able to meet again.
A throw to first, and again back to the bag goes Brooks Avery.
And when you see that type of play, you know, it's always good to see that they're keeping an eye on their best players, not letting them get too far ahead, and that's going to have to be a strategy when you're the Pickles playing on the outfield, just keeping an eye on their best players who are renowned for stealing bases and not letting them get ahead.
Thomas Ferraggiaro takes a fastball a little bit high, the count 1-1. So with respect to Susan and anyone else who may be interested, there are 4 seeds in each division. I'm not going to worry about the North. Let the North look under the things. You know, they can take care of their own matters. A throw to first, and Brooks Avery's picked off. Not a good sign, but it's also a sign of the team that's 41-9, won the first half, has a chance if they win the series to win the second half. They have been the best team in the league and coming off the West Coast League championship. And while Brooks Avery still has not been caught stealing, he is picked off here for the second out. 2 down, the count 1-1 to Thomas Ferraggiaro. Thomas takes high and away, ball 2, 2-1. The Knights are the second seed. Portland's the first seed, will play the number 4 seed in the first round of the playoffs. The Knights, as the 2 seed, will play the 3 seed in the first round. Best of 3 series. The pitch to Ferraggiaro just inside, and the count goes to 3-1. So the thing that remains to be determined, Bend is hosting Cowlitz this weekend. If the Bend Elks win that series, then the Knights will travel to Bend this Friday for Game 1 and then be home Saturday and then Sunday if necessary. Ferraggiaro swings at the 3-1 pitch and slaps it the other way into left field for a base hit. A 2-out single for Thomas. Maverick Russell, the batter. Maverick, a big base hit in the 10th inning in Springfield yesterday to give the Knights a 2-1 lead before Trey Swigert essentially settled the deal following Maverick's base hit and controversial call at the plate with a 3-run home run to give the Knights a 5-1 lead. And Brock Kettleson took care of business in the bottom half. The Knights completed the sweep of that series. Maverick Russell takes a strike, 0-1 the count. So the Knights will play either Bend or Marion in the first round. And again, if Bend wins the series, they are the 3 seed, and the Knights would travel as the 2 seed to Bend to play game 1 Friday in the best of 3. The next 2 would be here if necessary. The next pitch from Ari Klingman, a wild one, all the way to the backstop, getting by Connor Stewart. Ferragero on the wild pitch into scoring position. And while that series is going on beginning Friday, the Portland Pickles would travel to either Bend or Marion, depending on who finishes where. 1 plays at 4, and then 4, either Bend or Marion, would play at Walker Stadium, Lentz Park in games 2 and then game 3 if necessary. Then the 2 winners of those series would meet, and in this case it would be Portland. Russell smashes one to center, but it's playable. Backing up is Tony Otis to make the catch. Good contact for Maverick, but he's out. And the Knights, with the pickoff move from Ari Klingman mixed in, come up empty in the bottom of the first. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We go to the second in this final series of the year in the 2025 regular season. It's the Pickles nothing, the Knights nothing. Back in 90 on the Knights Orange Media live stream and Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
At Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, no score. Van Froling delivers to Josh Leichhardt, who swings and misses the first pitch. Van comes back, and the ball pops in and out of the mitt of Xavier Rios, perhaps cost a strike for his battery mate, in that Jacob Fisher didn't have a chance to take a look at the pitch more closely. The 1-1 offering from Froling is high, ball 2, 2-1. Josh Leichhardt out of Tigard High School has been on quite a journey to get to the University of Oregon, and congratulations to Josh making the commitment in July, earlier this season, in fact in mid-July. He takes outside from Van Froling, ball 3, 3-1. Schleichhardt is the single season West Coast League home run and RBI record holder. Swings at a 3-1 pitch, hits a 2-hopper to short. Brooks Avery fields and throws to first to get Schleichhardt. The Knights had a shift on for Schleichhardt with 3 defenders on the left side of the diamond. Schleichhardt from Tigard High School to Clark College, playing for Coach Mark Magdaleno, then to Vanguard University, and now to the University of Oregon. Has had an outstanding season, a record-setting season, a key for the Pickles, winning the first half, clinching the 1 seed, and tying the record for most wins in a West Coast League season, needing just 1 to stand alone. That brings to the plate Brandon Wooldridge. Brandon takes a strike. The 0-1 pitch, a ground ball to second, fielded by Thomas Ferragero. Thomas flips to first, and there are 2 down. Braden Woolridge, Braden out of Chino Hills and Glendora High School, committed to San Diego State out of high school and is competing at UC Davis now, has pitched 33 games over the last 3 years for the Aggies. Grounds out here quickly, 2 away in the second. And Ellie Kligman, the designated hitter, the batter. Ellie takes the first pitch for ball 1, 1-0. The Kligman brothers at work here tonight with Ellie, the DH, and his younger brother Ari, the starting pitcher. Ellie hits a high pop fly on the right side of the diamond. The ball stays fair for second baseman Thomas Ferragero to catch. And Van Froling, the 2-out double in the first notwithstanding, kind of breezing through the Pickles here early. We'll continue the playoff rundown, Susan. We're not done yet. You ain't heard nothing yet, as Jolie used to say, and it's all true. You haven't. There's more. We go to the bottom of the second. It is Portland nothing. The Knights nothing. Back in 90 on the KBVR TV live stream and the Knights and 1240 Joe Radio.
We want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Bottom of the second inning, right-hander Ari Kligman ready to go to Trey Swigert. First pitch to Trey, one of the heroes of yesterday's 5-1 victory with his 3-run blast at the Hamlin Sports Complex. Down and in to Trey, ball 1, 1-0. Trey Swigert, Cole Katayama Stahl, and Antonio Castro against Ari Kligman. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Ari out of Sacramento State, and the Kligman brothers coming up here to play. Kind of gets into his stretch position a bit oddly. It looks as though he's about to wind up and pitch, and then he stops and settles into a stretch position. Ari delivers, and the Knights with another opposite field single. Trey Swigert reaches out, flicks the barrel, and flares a base hit to left to lead matters off in the bottom of the second. The Knights had their leadoff man aboard last inning. Brooks Avery drew a walk and then was picked off. And a nice bit of work by Ari holding the runner. Cole Katayama Stahl, the batter. No score. Bottom of the second inning. Mike Parker working with Nick Munoz from KBVR TV and the Orange Media Network, and a great crew tonight that we are happy to have with us. We hope to enumerate them as we go this evening. The pitch to Cole Katayama Stahl is lined into left field. Base hit. The Knights with their third opposite field single of the ball game. Trey Swigert stops at second. Cole Katayama Stahl with a base hit. Antonio Castro, the designated hitter, the batter, and likely to be up there to bunt. Andy Sloan is the producer of tonight's telecast and live stream. The director is Drew West. The technical director, Ben Agman. Caden Ross is on camera 1. That's the home dugout. Elijah Ziegler, the high home dugout. Castro gets a great bunt down. The throw to first gets off the glove of the first baseman, Josh Schleichert, coming down the line to the plate, and out at the plate is Trey Swigert trying to score. So a break for the Knights in a very real sense turns into a disappointment when it looked as though at worst they'd have the bases loaded and nobody out. But instead, Swigert trying to score after the ball got by Josh Schleichert is thrown out at the plate. So the Knights have made outs on the bases in unconventional ways. Cole Katayama stalled to third. Antonio Castro with the sacrifice and a board on the throwing error. But then a great job by Schleichert to chase the ball down and throw back to the plate to Connor Stewart to get the out on Swigert. First and third for the Knights and one out. Xavier Rios, the batter. The pitch on the way to Xavier is high, ball 1, 1-0. Elijah Ziegler, the high home camera. Camera 3, high home 2 is Ethan. Brady Elliott is the cam 4 operator on the visiting dugout. The PTZ operator and the CF and cam 6. Television language unbeknownst to an old radio hack like me. I'm happy for everybody in the KBVR TV crew to understand what that means, but I just spoke a foreign tongue. A PTZ operator, CF and cam 6. I'm a radio dude, but Phoebe is handling that. So thank you, Phoebe. Brian, the bug audio. Mike Parker, the play-by-play announcer. Castro goes. Now he's hung up between first and second and is tagged out by Josh Schleichert. And the Knights running themselves out of an inning. And Brooks Avery picked last inning. Schleichert tagged out. I'm not sure what's going on tonight in a lot of ways. But the Knights should have had the bases loaded and nobody out and ready to jump the Pickles. And instead, they have 2 outs and a runner at third. And I don't quite understand the current goings on. Did you understand what they were trying to do there, Nick?
Tried to steal the base and got caught in between the two and basically just played a game of tag between the two Pickles.
I think he was hoping that perhaps the runner, Cole Katayama stall at third,
right,
could have broken while he stayed in a rundown, but the Pickles executed it perfectly. And so the Knights now went from potentially bases loaded, nobody out, to Cole Katayama stall at third by himself with 2 outs. The pitch on the way misses outside, and the count goes to 3-1 to Xavier Rios. The Pickles, just looking at the way the game is played thus far, they make their own luck in a sense. Luck is the residue of design, the Mahatma's favorite saying, the old Persian proverb. Branch Rickey loved it. And if it is a little bit on the lucky side or whatever it is that's gone on in these first 2 innings for the Knights on the base paths with respect to the Pickles, they make the right plays, and they perhaps can get other teams to get out of their usual groove because teams are locked in to beat them at 41 and 42-9 now. So the Knights, very uncharacteristic errors on the base paths. Runner threw it out of the plate, a runner picked off, a runner gets caught in a rundown. Now the Knights will get a run, though, nevertheless, with Xavier Rios grounding one back up the middle, off the glove of Joey Wright, into center field for a base hit. Cole Katayama stall comes in to score, and the Knights do get a run and lead it 1-0. And that's an example of Xavier Rios sort of picking everybody up. But it's been an unusual first 2 innings for the Knights on the base paths with the aforementioned adventures or misadventures. Now Quinn Dufort, the batter, and Xavier Rios at first, held on by Josh Schleichert. Out of the stretch works Ari Klingman, and his fastball misses high, ball 1, 1-0. Nick is joining me here. Nick Munoz to my right, Steven Sandberg, the advisor, Brady, the engineer, and Brendan Bruckner has done a tremendous job as well, helping to get everything from an audio visual standpoint set up for tonight, this summer, the last couple of summers, in fact. So it's a great crew. you guys having a good time so far, Nick?
Well, the last series of events for the Knights makes it worth it.
Yeah.
You know, so far, although that game of tag between the two Pickles was definitely not what you'd like to see if you're a Knights fan, at least you were able to get a base stolen, you know.
And they did get a run in on a clutch base hit, so they do have the early lead. How often do you guys, this is a great program, the KBVR TV Orange Media telecast that we're working with tonight. I mentioned the crew. Have you guys do all those people I just mentioned, have you guys done a lot of events together this year?
Yeah, we're always busy. You know, every term we always get to do different games. It's fun, you know, get a chance to come out, you know, spread your wings, as you would say, you know, get more experience in a real job experience world. So it's always a nice time to be out here with you, Mike.
The pitching coach heads out for the Portland Pickles for a quick word. And we have, in the meantime, been talking Mike Parker with Nick Munoz. What sports, what different events? I'm curious to know how many events you guys roughly have done during the course of a year and what sports you do. Quinn Dufort takes high, ball one.
Couldn't give you a number, but I do know that we cover baseball, volleyball, basketball. Basketball is usually fun. That's mainly winter, spring term. Baseball, of course, over the summer with the Corvallis Knights. A lot of volleyball. Nice. Usually the smaller sports that are essentially easier to set up cams on, and we could be able to set up a situation like that. Wish we could do football one day. That'd be amazing. But,
how was this setup today?
This setup went smoothly. You know, no complaints. Usually there's days where we have like nightmare scenarios, but today was pretty smoothly.
Very good. The pitch to Dufort to strike, 1-0 Knights. 3-1 the count to Quinn. Brooks Avery, the on-deck hitter. The Knights leading 1-0 in a game. Again, the upshot is the Knights and Pickles are playing to see who wins the second half, in a sense. Portland's already won the first half and thus awarded the #1 seed. The 3-1 pitch is ball 4. It goes off the mid of Connor Stewart to the backstop. Quinn Dufort draws the walk, the second allowed by Ari Kligman. And Brooks Avery will be the hitter. Brooks drew a walk and then got picked off last inning. The Knights with 3 strange outs on the base paths in the first 2 innings. So Portland, the 1 seed, the Knights, the 2 seed, and we'll find out the next couple of days who will be the 3 and 4 seed. If Bend wins the series, they are the 3 seed, and the Knights would play at Bend on Friday. If Marion wins the series, or pardon me, Marion is sitting and watching. If Cowlitz playing at Bend, if Cowlitz takes 2 of 3, then the Knights would travel up the road and play Marion on Friday. Much easier trip, to be sure, but I don't think there's any rooting interest one way or the other. Well, congratulations to Marion in its first year in the postseason. Brooks Avery fouls one back. 1-0 Knights in the bottom of the second. 2 on and 2 out. Brooks cues one slowly foul in front of the Pickles dugout. The Pickles have been a tremendous story, huge success story. The atmospherics at Walker Stadium at Lentz Park, among the best in this league. Such a great atmosphere. The Knights hope to experience it for 1 game in a South Division winner-take-all next week. No balls and 2 strikes. Fastball just outside from Ari Klingman. Ball 1, 1-2. So best 2 out of 3, Susan, in the first round. The Knights and either Marion or Bend, the Pickles against the other team. Then the winners of that best 2 of 3 series would meet. And if Portland wins, it would be in Portland. If the Knights win, it would be here. The 1-2 pitch taken a little bit high and inside. Ball 2, 2-2 to Brooks Avery. 2 on, 2 out, a run in. 1-0 Knights. Then all of that same formatic is playing out in the North. The 2 winners of the South and the North would meet in the team with the best record, which would be either Portland or the Knights if those 2 prevail in their respective series. So the Knights have a good shot, as of course the Pickles do, with the gaudy records they've both posted during the course of the summer, to host the championship game, with the North traveling here. Brooks Avery fouling one into Urchin Alley. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, misses very high and inside. Ball 3, 3-2. The Knights runners will go on the pitch. A strange sort of inning. The Knights have scored a run. They've had a runner thrown out at the plate. They've had a runner caught in a rundown between first and second. Now Rios and Dufort go. The 3-2 pitch is high and inside, ball 4. And it tells me, as the bases are loaded for Brock Kettleson, listening to the reaction of the Corvallis Knights players, as loud as they've cheered a walk, I think, all year. And this series means a lot to both of these highly competitive teams and great organizations. The Pickles have been a gigantic hit in the city of Portland. It is so great to have baseball in the city itself and in a great part of the city in southeast Portland. Letts Park, Walker Stadium, a wonderful place to visit. But these two teams have been very competitive against each other, meeting in the postseason. The Pickles were having a hard time getting through the Corvallis Knights, as everyone in the league had the previous 7 years. Last year, Portland dethroned the Knights. The Knights trying to return the favor and come back and reclaim the crown. Kettleson takes inside from Ari Kligman. The 1-0 pitch is a called strike, and Brooke Knight comes stalking down outside the box to complain about the strike call that Jacob Fisher just made. And he has a few fans on his side, too. Bases loaded, 2 down. 1-1 to Brock Kettleson. Very high, ball 2, 2-1. Kligman scuffling with his control now, and the Knights getting a run. They could expunge much of the frustration they felt with some of the base running misadventures if Brock can get a pitch to handle and perhaps clear the bases. Ari Kligman threw it all, trying to get out of it cheaply enough. Delivers very high. Ball 3, 3-1. And again, near exaltations coming out of the Corvallis Knights dugout. Kligman is a pitch away from walking in a run. Brock Kettleson can shrink the zone. The 3-1 pitch, down and in, ball 4 to force in a run. Brock Kettleson drawing the bases loaded walk. Xavier Rios down the line to score. The Knights lead it 2-0. Quinn Dufort to third, Brock Sabrian to second, and Brock Kettleson picks up the RBI to give the Knights a 2-0 lead. Thomas Ferragero will be the batter. And the Pickles do have some activity going on in their bullpen. It appears as though Liam Golden, a right-hander, an incoming freshman to Stanford, is loosening up back of Kligman. Kligman has walked 3 consecutive hitters and 4 free passes in the game. Connor Stewart, Ari's battery mate, pays Ari a visit. With the bases loaded, 2 down, the Knights leading 2-0. Thomas Ferragero to the plate, and it has the look and feel of, if Kligman's not able to get an out here, he may see his evening come to an end on the bump. Ferragero singled to left field in the first. 2 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks. The first pitch missing high and away to Ferragero, ball 1. When you take a look at the overall scenario for the Pickles, if they get out of this, it's indeed cheaply enough. Having already given up 4 walks and 4 hits, but only 2 runs on the board. The 1-0 pitch, a strike, and Brooke Knight again is beside himself, saying, and he's walking much, much closer this time. You can't, in theory, argue balls and strikes, and Brooke Knight is ostensibly asking for time to talk to Ferragero. What he's really doing is manifesting his slow burn, Edgar Kennedy style, to home plate umpire Jacob Fisher. He had no intention really to talk to Ferragero. He wanted to let Jacob Fisher know how displeased he, Brooke, was at the administration of the strike zone by Jacob. Instead of 2-0, which it should be, the count is 1-1 to Ferragero. It takes a world of pressure off of Ari Kligman. Instead of 2-0, it's 1-1. Bases loaded, 2 down. The 1-1 pitch is strike 2, and a much better pitch by Kligman. And so again, he's in a position, is Ari, thanks to And a runner thrown out of the plate, his own pickoff move, a runner caught in a rundown. He's a strike away from getting out of it with only a 2-run deficit. But his 1-2 pitch misses low and inside, ball 2. 2-2. Quinn Duford at third, Brooks Avery at second, Brock Kettleson at first. 2 down, 2 runs in. 2-0 Knights in the bottom of the second, and what could indeed be a precursor of a winner-take-all game next week. The 2-2 pitch, a chopper up along first, fielded by Kligman. Kligman takes it to the bag, and he's living right. I mean, he's given up 4 hits, 4 walks, but he's helped himself out with some big-time pitches and makes the play unassisted at first base. And the Knights leave 3, settle for 2, but they know they missed out on a really good opportunity to get more. 2 runs in the frame, and at the end of 2, the Knights 2 and the Pickles nothing. And we'll be back on KBVR TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio in 90 seconds. 2-0 Knights on the live stream.
Looking for the latest news that you can trust? Subscribe to the Gazette-Times, your go-to source for in-depth journalism and breaking news. From local stories that impact your community to consistent updates to your Beavers and Knights, the Gazette-Times has it all. For only $1 for 3 months, enjoy unlimited access to our e-edition, unlimited articles on GazetteTimes.com and our mobile app, and free access to newspapers.com archives. Subscribe today and join the Gazette-Times community.
The Knights left-hander's first pitch, a fastball outside to Connor Stewart. Connor out of Clinton, Ohio, Wadsworth High School, played at CSUN in 24, competed at Long Beach State for the Dirtbags this past spring. He takes the 1-0 pitch for a strike. 1-1 the count to Connor, the right-hand hitting catcher for the Portland Pickles. Van back to the plate and misses. Oh, gets he did miss, but he gets the strike. That's all I can say on that. And Brooke Knight said, well, okay. Turnabout is fair play. Mark Magdaleno would have to live with that. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Connor Stewart. Van Froling delivers a change looped into the lower grandstand below the Jack Riley concourse. Good crowd on this Monday night. The next 2 nights, 6:35 to wrap up the regular season. A day off on Thursday. The playoffs begin for the Knights on the road and for the Pickles on the road on Friday. A 1-hopper stroke to Knights second baseman Thomas Ferragero. He plays it at the belt buckle and throws Connor Stewart out. 1 gone. Grafton Stroop, the hitter. Grafton out of Hartford, South Dakota, and playing up the road at Western Oregon after beginning his collegiate career down the road at Umpqua Community College. Nick, I didn't get a chance to ask you. Nick Munoz working alongside as part of the KBVR Orange Media broadcast tonight. The pitch to Grafton, a strike. 0-1 the count. 1 out, nobody on. 2-0 Knights in the third. Van Froling comes back to the plate and misses outside. Nick, where are you from?
I'm originally from Texas, but just out here for school.
So you came up to go to Oregon State?
Yes.
Okay, and what year are you now?
Heading to my 3rd right now, Mike.
Good. The 1-1 pitch down and in. And so what is your major? Is you in some sort of path in communications? Or?
Right now I'm a DCA major, so digital communications.
Okay. Good field to be in. The 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled back in the count 2-2. What part of Texas?
Oh, the Dallas area.
And why here? I mean, we're glad to have you, but what brings you from Dallas, Texas up to the beautiful Pacific Northwest? Two balls.
A lot of reasons. That's one of the major ones is the nature, you know.
The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. 2 down. Van Froling has pitched extremely well. He's allowed a strike 2 pitch double, but he's retired everybody else. Anyway, you were saying.
Oh, just the nature. That was one of the bigger reasons. I feel like also just for the fact that I want to be involved with sports media broadcasting, I feel like every stadium has like a nicer feel to it. All the nature elements, like this one included. Goss is really pretty most of the year.
Tanner Griffith takes a fastball knee high for a strike. 0-1 the count. Tanner grounded out to second in his first at bat. Van Froling back to the plate, a check swing foul in the count. 0-2. You come to a lot of the Oregon State baseball games in the spring here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And are you a fan first and foremost, or are you looking at it both as because you're a sports fan to be involved in sports?
Usually I look at it as like the analytical nerd side before I do the fan. As much as I love, how well the Beavers did last year.
Yeah.
And of course how the Knights have been doing.
The strike 2 pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. Van Froling retires the side in order again, strikes out 2, and we are through 2.5. It's a showdown of sorts because the Pickles have sewn so many things up. These 3 games are important to set a tone, and they are ultra competitive, as we've already talked about. We'll continue to kind of talk about this being perhaps more of a precursor series to something coming next week as we go to the bottom of the third. After 2.5, the Knights 2 and the Pickles nothing back in 90 on the Knights and KBVR TV live stream and 1240 Joe Radio.
News that you can trust. Subscribe to the Gazette-Times, your go-to source for in-depth journalism and breaking news. From local stories that impact your community to consistent updates to your Beavers and Knights, the Gazette-Times has it all. For only $1 for 3 months, enjoy unlimited access to our e-edition, unlimited articles on GazetteTimes.com and our mobile app, and free access to newspapers.com archives. Subscribe today and join the Gazette-Times community, where
All right, we're starting 1 minute. We're going to start from black to cam 5. 2, let's get actually guitar and vocalist left side.
Was clinging to staying in the game last inning, but here he is. Good for him. He made some clutch pitches when he needed to. And he starts Maverick Russell with a fastball foul back. 0-1 the count, 2-0 Knights, bottom of the third. Russell strokes this baseball into right field. A solid single. Tanner Griffith gets the ball back in. Maverick's been swinging a hot bat. He's getting hot at the right time. The Knights have gotten hot at the right time. They're playing the team that's been, well, it's been the right time for the Pickles all summer long. Coming in with their gaudy 42-9 record, equaling the Knights' record of 42 wins in the 2019 West Coast League season. And they have been very potent offensively, hitting .297 as a club. The Knights have hit .270 as a team. But the Knights are currently the hottest team in the league. Mark Magdaleno is on his way out to the mound after the first pitch to Trey Swigert, who singled to left field in the second, missed. And Mags was perhaps giving Ari Kligman a chance to pick up where he left off and getting the final out with the bases loaded last inning. But he saw the nature of the hard contact off the bat of Maverick Russell, and the first pitch not coming anywhere near the plate. And that provokes Mark Magdaleno, who has been the coach for the Portland Pickles since their inception in the league in the summer of 2018. One of the best additions in this growing league we've seen over the years, to go to the bullpen. Liam Golden incoming freshman at Stanford coming in. We will take now a 2-minute, folks, a 2-minute pitching change break. 2 minutes, back in 2, the Knights and the Portland Pickles. The Knights leading 2-0. Back in 2 on the KBVR TV and Corvallis Knights and 1240 live stream and Joe Radio.
Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Knights in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Liam Golden inherits a 1-0 count on Trey Swigert in the bottom of the 3rd with Maverick Russell at first, nobody out. Liam delivers high and away. The count goes to 2-0. 6'4", 210-pounder. Incoming to Stanford, as is the Knights center fielder, Brock Kettleson. 2 balls and no strikes. Liam back to the plate. Fastball on the inner half for a strike. 2-1 to Trey. Swigert singled to left field in the 2nd. The Knights sent 8 men to the plate in the 2nd inning and came away with just 2 runs. From the stretch, Liam Golden turns and throws to first. Back to the bag goes Maverick Russell. The playoffs, the 2nd season beginning on Friday for both clubs. The 2-1 pitch, missing ball 3, 3-1. So 1 off day, that'll be Thursday. The Knights and Pickles tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday, an off day Thursday. Both Portland and Corvallis will travel to open their best-of-3 series on Friday. The pitch on the way is outside, and the count goes to 3-1. And if they play each other, and whatever the South Division, the 3-1 pitch missing for ball 4. They would have 1 week from tonight off and then play in Portland. The Knights, if the Knights and Pickles each get through their first-round playoff series, they would play each other in Portland a week from tomorrow on Tuesday the 12th. What a showdown that would be. The first pitch to Cole Katayama Stahl misses for ball 1, 1-0. 2 on, 1 out, bottom of the 3rd, 2-0 Knights. Cole shows bunt, a throw down to second base, and Maverick Russell gets back. That would have, as the phrase goes, don't that beat all? That would have beaten all, as far as I'm concerned, had Russell been picked off at second base, but he was able to scramble back. 2 balls and no strikes to Cole Katayama stall. Cole singled to left and scored a run last inning. 2-0 Knights in the third. He shows bunt and pushes the bunt up along third towards Brook Knight. Foul. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Mark Magdaleno before the game, and I visited. I said, well, congratulations on the all-time record. He still needs 1 more win to get it, but then we started talking about the 2001 Mariners and the Golden State Warrior basketball team. The 2-1 pitch to Cole misses ball 3, and Mags quickly said, yeah, neither of them won the championship. And he's right. Lou Pinella's Mariners, 116 wins in 2001, knocked out. The Warriors, the year they won 73, knocked out. I think didn't the New England Patriots go undefeated and get win more games than anybody, but didn't win at all. The 3-1 pitch to Cole Katayama stall, low and outside, ball 4. The bases are loaded, nobody out. Antonio Castro, the batter. So, Nick, you were nodding as I brought up the Patriots. Did they win every game until they got to the Super Bowl? What year was that?
18-0, 07 against Eli's Giants.
Okay, so they were 18-0 going into that
the
Super Bowl.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Or actually, no, 19-0.
19-0.
Looking to go 20-0, the first team to win 20 games. And then ran into Eli Manning and the New York Football Giants.
Sounds like in Dallas you must be a big-time football fan, right? Are you an NFL guy?
Absolutely.
The pitch to Antonio in the turf, ball 1-0. And a Cowboys fan?
Oh, no.
No?
No. Actually, another reason I moved up here, a big Seahawk guy.
Right. No. Okay. Interesting. How does, again, a Dallas kid become a big Seahawk guy? The pitch in the turf, ball 2-0. Bases loaded, nobody out. 2-0 Knights. The 2-0 pitch, a strike. The count 2-1 to Castro. Antonio with a sacrifice in the second, got aboard on a throwing error.
It was a pretty good swing over for the first pitch, but back to your question, I guess. Right when the Legion of Boom was getting big is when I started getting into football, and then unfortunately stuck around as a Seahawks fan for years after.
Castro, a fly ball to left field, moving over is Wooldridge to make the catch, and Maverick Russell stays put. 1 away. The Knights left the bases loaded last inning, scored 2 runs, but left the sacks full, and certainly felt as though they didn't cash in on the opportunities presented. And now Liam Golden, after he came in to face Trey Swigert, walks Katayama stall, but gets Castro to fly out. Now he's a double play ball from getting out of the inning. Xavier Rios takes high and away, ball 1. The Knights with the bases loaded, 1 out in the bottom of the third, leading 2-0. Liam is making his 7th appearance, 10 2/3 innings, 13 hits, 9 runs, all earned, 10 walks, 13 strikeouts. He misses again, ball 2, 2-0. Neither team, and again, these games are important. Do not get me wrong. I'll keep emphasizing because of how competitive they are and the tone they want to set for a potential winner-take-all game next week. The 2-0 pitch is outside, ball 3, 3-0. The Knights would love to win the second half. The standings would show that indeed if they win the series, the team that wins this series wins the second half. And the Knights would like to have that plotted, but again, it doesn't change playoff positioning at all. The 3-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 3-1 to Xavier Rios. 2-0 Knights, but it would be a good feather in the Knights' cap, and I think be a momentum boost for that potential one-game showdown. Walker Stadium at Lentz Park next week. The 3-1 pitch from Golden. How about this? A ground ball to right, feeds Stroop for 1, on to first for the double play, and the inning is unbelievably over. 6-4-3. This is why a club is 41-9. I shouldn't be so. When the Beavers were having those back-to-back 23-game win streaks in 2017 and going 56-4, they just seemed to always kind of do the right thing when it counted. And the Pickles at 41-9 do an excellent job here. From bases loaded, nobody out. to putting another 0 on the board. We are through 3. The Knights 2, the Pickles nothing. Back in 90 on the KBVR TV and Knights live stream on Joe Radio. Of the top of the 4th inning through 3 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Knights, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Pickles. Van Proling delivers and a ground ball to short off the bat of Joey Wright. Joey takes it off the turf and throws over to Maverick Russell, 1 away. Tony Otis, the batter. Otis is the only player to get on base for the Pickles, a 2-out double in the first. He takes ball 1 from Van Proling. The 1-0 pitch just misses from Van. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Van getting the baseball in this important start. Comes back to the plate and misses for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. The 3-0 pitch, and from out of nowhere, a guy that's been in complete command, issues a 4-pitch walk. Van Proling with a 2-0 lead throws ball 4 to Tony Otis. Van heretofore 16 innings coming into this appearance, 11 hits, just 3 earned, only 3 walks and 20 strikeouts. So just 3 walks for Van Proling now through 19 innings of work, but he issues a 1-out free pass and now misses very high. Ball 1 to Bryson Glasgow. Tony Otis, the runner at first base, in the top of the 4th. He has 15 stolen bases, and he has not been caught. He leads the Pickles in that category. The 1-0 pitch to Glasgow, a strike, the count 1-1. Bryson Glasgow, Spanish Springs High School in Spanish Springs, Nevada. An Oregon State committed out of Clackamas Community College, where he plays for assistant coach Joe Hoppe for the Portland Pickles. The 1-1 pitch missing just inside, ball 2, 2-1. So Oregon State fans excited about Bryson Glasgow getting ready to come. The West Coast League Player of the Week last week, an unbelievable week for Bryson. Van Proling throws to first, and Otis again back, going 13 for 31 in series against Marion and Bend. That computes to a .419 mark with 4 homers and 17 runs batted in. The 2-1 pitch, and he's at it again. A line drive toward the gap into right center field. Chasing it down is Brock Kettleson. The wave being given, and coming around third, coming in to score, Tony Otis. On Glasgow, staying hot. A double to the gap in right center field, and the Knights lead cut to 2-1. And it just feels as though the Knights and the opportunities they've squandered, you knew that it wouldn't be long before things would tighten up on them. And the lead, just like that, cut in half, with the Knights having left the bases loaded in each of the last 2 innings and scoring just 2 runs. Josh Schleichart, the batter. Nice swing with some power to the opposite field for Glasgow. Schleichart going the other way, heading down to the University of Oregon. Takes a strike, the count 0-1. We'll see some activity begin in the Corvallis Knights bullpen here in a moment. One ball and no strikes. Derek Bukite, the director of operations for the Corvallis Knights, taking charge. He's speaking as one having authority down there in front of the entrance to the ballpark, trying to explain to the kids how the Dash for Cash presented by State Farm Insurance is going to work. The pitch missing, and the count 2-1. The alley behind us, Urchin Alley, is filled with nothing but urchins more than ever, making plenty of noise as they get lined up to Dash for Cash here in a moment. And we'll keep the cameras on during the Dash for Cash. Nick and I will spend some time talking about that as well as visiting about other matters. That's coming up at the end of this half inning, I believe. 2-1 Knights, the tying run at second with one out, represented by Bryson Glasgow. Josh Schleichart with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. The right-hand hitter awaits, swings, and it's a line drive that goes through Brooks Avery into left field to Quinn Dufort. I think Brooks lost it in the sun. Just as he moved one step to his left, Avery, Nick, it looked to me like the ball got in the path of the sun and went off his glove. Did it look that way to you?
It looks like the sun hit him in the eye. You could see his face squint whenever he tried to reach for it. It goes right through the tip of his glove. I think because when he was blinded from the sun, just barely reaching over the gym right across from Goss, I think he's expected it to be a little closer, but he extended his hand a little too far out, and it tips it.
It's a base hit on a ball drilled by Josh Schleichart, but again, strange doings tonight. A throw to first base, and Josh Schleichart back to the bag. Josh 9 for 12 in stolen bases. 2-1 Knights in the top of the 4th inning, but instead of a line drive that appeared to be destined to be out number 2, instead is a base hit for Schleichart. He did stone that ball. Brandon Woolridge, a fly ball to left that'll get the game even. Quinn Dufort moves over, tags. Is Bryson Glasgow from third tagging. The catch made by Dufort, and Glasgow comes down the line to score on the sacrifice fly by Braden Woolridge. And the Portland Pickles, who believe when they take the field, they're going to win. And part of that coming to play just the way this ball game has played out. Now tied at 2 when the Pickles have been in a pickle on the mound each of the first 3 innings, and yet here they are tied at 2 in the 4th. A throw to first base, back to the bag goes Josh Schleichart. That ball could not, that Avery didn't catch, Nick. There's only one spot on the field where Brooks wouldn't have caught it, and that's where the baseball ended up.
It couldn't have hit the worst angle of the sun. You couldn't have had a worse crack in the field. Right now, it's all shadowed outside of the outfield to the left, and of course, the one spot it has to fly out. Of course, it's the spot where he's going to get blinded and miss his shot.
I'm just glad that it went off his glove, because if you lose it completely, it could hit somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Off his person, and it didn't. But he did go for a base hit, which sent Schleichart to first base and Brian Glasgow to third. Glasgow scoring on the sac fly by Braden Woolridge. The pitch missing in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Good execution on the part of the Portland Pickles to pull even at 2. Woolridge picking up the sac fly for his 14th run batted in, 2nd sac fly of the year. The 1-1 pitch missing to Ellie Kligman. Ball 2, 2-1. Haven't seen a baseball player by the name of Ellie for a long time, except Ellis Valentine, I believe, called Ellie. Ellie Valentine. Ellis was the name, but I think I heard at times in his day being referred to as Ellie. Ellie Kligman here takes a strike in the count, 2-2. A 2-2 tie in the top of the 4th inning. The irrepressible Pickles battling back to get even. The 2-2 pitch is punched in the air, foul, back of the plate, and Xavier Rios didn't make any attempt at a ball, just hit not high enough in the air to give anyone a chance to get to it. Van Froling and Xavier Rios, the Knights battery. Maverick Russell at first, Thomas Ferrajaro at second, Brooks Avery at short, Trey Swigert at third. The 2-2 pitch is strike three called to retire the side, but the Pickles get two and pull even here in the fourth. Quinn Dufort from left, Brock Kettleson from center, and Cole Katayama Stahl from right, all trotting in off the field. As I think it's time for Dash for Cash. Maybe not yet. Nope, they're getting lined up. They're getting lined up under the direction of Quinn Dufort. And so I think we'll see the Dash for Cash coming at the end of this next half inning. So out to the mound goes Liam Golden, who got out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation and then saw his teammates come back to get two to pull him even. We go to the bottom of the fourth. The Pickles 2, the Knights 2 on the KBVR TV live stream back in 90 on Joe Radio.
Doesn't have to break the bank. 80% of Oregonians received financial assistance through OregonHealthcare.gov last year, and you might qualify too. At OregonHealthcare.gov, you can explore quality health plans from trusted insurers and find one that fits your budget and your needs. Our plans are built with you in mind, so you can compare prices and benefits, no sales tactics included. We're here to get you covered, Oregon.
News that you can trust. Subscribe to the Gazette-Times, your go-to source for in-depth journalism and breaking news. From local stories that impact your community to consistent updates to your Beavers and Knights, the Gazette-Times has it all. For only $1 for 3 months, enjoy unlimited access to our e-edition, unlimited articles on GazetteTimes.com and our mobile app, and free access to newspapers.com archives. Subscribe today and join the Gazette-Times community.
Fourth inning, a 2-2 tie. Mike Parker with Nick Munoz on the KBVR Orange Media and Corvallis Knights live stream. Quinn Dufort swinging at the first pitch from Liam Golden. It's a foul ball off the TNT Builders party deck in the left field corner. The strike one pitch from Liam is in there for strike two. 0-2 the count. Quinn Dufort walked in the second. Golden back to the plate and misses high and away with a fastball. 1-2 the count. Golden back to the plate and misses just inside. That evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Knights have coaxed 5 walks and have 5 hits, and yet are caught in a 2-2 tie. Ground ball to second. Grafton Stroop up with it. Throws Quinn Dufort out. 1 away, and the batter will be Brooks Avery. Brooks has been up twice and walked twice. Six walks, pardon me, have been yielded by Portland pitching. And the Knights have kind of run themselves into some difficulty and perhaps prevented them from getting a big inning, in particular in the second. The first pitch is in there for a strike to Brooks Avery. The 0-1 pitch, Brooks takes strike 2. 0-2 the count. Brooks walked in the first and walked in the second. The strike 2 pitch is waved at and missed. And Liam Golden has retired the last 5 Knights hitters And Brock Kettleson strides to the plate. Brock has popped out and drew a bases-loaded walk. Okay, I'm making one more double check. It's only 5 walks. Gone back and forth on my score sheet. Only 5 walks, but that's still an inordinate number as we play here in the 4th of a 2-2 tie. 5 walks and 5 hits. And yet just a 2-2 tie. So good work when it really counts. The pitch to Kettleson, the strike one delivery just misses to Brock. 1-1 the count. 2 outs, nobody on. Thomas Ferraggiaro on deck. The dash for cash will take place between innings, and we're drawing closer to it. The 1-1 pitch fouled straight back. The count 1-2. The Knights and Pickles. The Knights want to return to the Yankees role in a sense. Last year, the Pickles winning the championship. The 1-2 pitch in the turf for strike 3. A throw to first is in time to complete the strikeout. 2-3. Connor Stewart to Josh Schleichhardt. We will take a break and then come back to the dash for cash. So we'll take our 90-second break, but there'll be plenty going on when we return when it comes to the dash for cash event presented by State Farm Insurance. We go to the 5th, the 2-2 tie, back with dash for cash and the youngsters flooding the field now. Nick and I will talk about it when we return. 2-2 to the 5th on KBVR TV and the Knights live stream back in 90 on Joe Radio. Can you do a quick glance and tell me roughly what you think? How many kids are out there getting ready to dash for cash?
I heard a number earlier from one of the employees. I think maybe 50? I don't know, even out of 100.
Looks a little more than that to me. It looks more
I know,
than 50. How does it work? What's going to happen here?
I have no clue, but I do know that a big point of it is that I think they're going to race. I don't know. I just,
Well, okay, I think there's $1,001 bills provided by State Farm Insurance in 3 different, whatever
areas.
you call those things, and they eject them out of the T-shirt. What do you call those things? They're
leaf blowers, right?
Okay, they're leaf blowers. They shoot the dollar bills out of the blowers, and they're kind of floating around in the air. There's one bill that's being chased down. It was kind of on its own, but it won't take long, $1,000 goes quickly. I think they got them. There's a few more being tossed around. And I also think, too, Nick, there's a couple of really young kids down there, like on an Easter egg hunt, looking around. And I see Amanda Knight providing, no one gets left out. Every kid gets at least $1 or $2. That would be a little traumatic if you went out there and looked around and saw all the other kids get to those dollar bills first. But the Knights staff, Amanda and company, doing a great job to make sure no one's left out. Have you ever participated in such an event?
No, but I've seen several, how they just kind of bring the kids out for halftime basically and let them run around. I feel bad for the kid who has to leave with $1.
Well, you also hope it doesn't get too physical.
No,
people blocking and blocking people out and diving. But it looked like as the kids head off the field that a good time was had by all, as the phrase goes. We're going to the top of the 5th inning in a 2-2 tie, and the Knights will have a new pitcher in. It'll be Michael Singleton in a 2-2 tie coming on for Van Froling. A game that's been a little bit on the frustrating side for the Corvallis Knights, in that they appeared early to have great opportunity to kind of build a fairly sizable lead and just missed out on some chances. Good work on the part of the Pickles to keep it from happening. And Van Froling leaves after 4 quality innings. A 2-2 tie. Michael Singleton out of George Fox into the ball game. Singleton, a right-hander, loosening up with his battery mate, 6'3", 175-pounder out of Valley Christian in San Jose, where his center fielder Brock Kettleson hails from. Mike Parker with Nick Munoz. Thanks for joining us. Game 2 of the series tomorrow night, 6:35. The final of the regular season Wednesday, 6:35, and Fan Appreciation Night. How has your summer been, Nick? Did you go home for some of it down to Dallas?
I did go home for some of it, but it's been good. Spent time with family, go to the beach. It's been a good summer.
When you go to the beach in Dallas, how far are you from it?
About 6.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go to the beach, you go and stay for a day or a couple of days.
It's not like going out to Newport
No,
here.
no, where you can make it in less than an hour from here, which is the beauty of it all. And so where do you go in Texas? Where do you end up? When you say go to the beach, what city do you end up in?
Galveston.
In Galveston.
Right.
Okay, that's the closest to Dallas?
Yes.
It's also a better song, in my opinion, Glenn Campbell's Galveston, than what Bob Dylan says is the greatest song ever, which he says is Wichita Lineman, but I think Galveston's better, and it doesn't even get mentioned. Anyway. You know that song?
Yeah, no.
Okay, good for you. That's old, man. That's old, like me. Connor Stewart swings at a 1-0 pitch. A high drive to deep left field. Dufort back. It's gone. And the Pickles take the lead. Connor Stewart blasting a solo home run off Singleton to lead off the top of the 5th. And the Pickles lead it 3-2. Michael Singleton greeted Reedley. Yeah, and he's rudely greeted with the home run off the bat of Connor Stewart. The Pickles have been playing long ball all summer. That's their 48th home run of the season. That doubles the Knights total in terms of the long ball. And Connor Stewart giving the Portland Pickles the lead with his 2nd home run of the season. 3-2. Singleton to the plate in the first pitch to the left-hand hitting Grafton Stroop. Swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Singleton back to the plate. Strike 1 pitch missing. The count 1-1. Now, did you feel that was a no-doubter when it left his bat?
As it started to hit over the sun and started going out, I thought it was going to go all the way to the parking lot, but it was a very good hit, lean drive, and that's how you take a lead in this late game.
The 1-1 pitch missing, ball 2, 2-1. The Pickles appeared to be kind of scuffling early in this one, down 2-0 and barely escaping worse damage. And now they lead it. That's what the great teams are able to kind of weather some of their early stumbles.
Absolutely.
And Portland's been doing that all year. The 2-1 pitch missing for ball 3, 3-1. Singleton to the plate. The 3-1 pitch in there for a strike. When it comes to baseball, you've already declared your Seahawks love. Does that extend to the Mariners in Seattle?
Yeah, Mariners are fun. I love the stadium. Beautiful stadium. Love watching the Mariners going out and seeing them.
The 3-2 pitch just inside for ball 4. That was close.
That was close.
Grafton Stroop draws a walk after the home run, and Tanner Griffith, the batter. Do you get up there every once in a while?
Yeah, every once in a while.
To a Seahawk game, too?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, every once in a while I'll go out and see the Hawks.
Nice. But it still doesn't fully account for anybody growing up in the Dallas metro area. Isn't it just a given that every kid's a
Cowboy
fan?
pipeline? Not really.
Okay.
There's always, I've run into Giants fans sometimes too.
Interesting.
How about yourself, Mike?
Throw to first base, Grafton Stroop back. Loved the LA Rams growing up as I did in Southern California, but shifted my allegiance to college sports when moving to the state of Oregon in '73. The pitch on the way is high. I was a big, as they used to be called, I was a big Redskins fan for a long time, 71 through 78, but haven't really been a fan of any particular NFL team since 1978. Seahawks probably are my if I had to pick a team,
right,
would be the Seahawks. The pitch missing high and away to Tanner Griffith. The 1-0 pitch, a good bunt. Singleton fields, doesn't even look at second. Throws to Maverick Russell at first, and Tanner Griffith gets the sacrifice down 1-3. Good work on Griffith's part. Young man out of De La Salle High School and St. Mary's College. And again, it's a good piece of execution on the part of this red-hot Portland Pickles team. Far and away the best record at 42-9. And if they win this ball game, they lead at 3-2. They will establish themselves atop in the history of the West Coast League, the best, the highest number of wins in the history of the league. The Knights winning 42 in 2019 en route to a championship. The strike one pitch missing, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Joey Wright. Joey out of Newport Harbor High School in beautiful Newport Beach in the Southland, plays at UC Davis. Singleton's 1-1 pitch hit sharply off the glove of Brooks Avery and into left field for a base hit. Tough play for Brooks. He didn't have to deal with the sun that time, but he did have to deal with a hot smash off the bat of Joey Wright. Grayson Stroop goes to third base. Joey Wright aboard at first, and Tony Otis will be the hitter. 3-2 Portland here in the top of the 5th inning. Tony doubled to left on an 0-2 pitch off of Van Proling in the first, walked and scored last inning, and he lashes a ball toward the gap into right center field for a base hit. Grafton Stroop scores. Otis on his way to second and gets there with a good burst. Into third base goes Joey Wright, and the Pickles lead it 4-2. That ball was well struck. Brock Kettleson getting to the baseball, but not in time, even with his good arm. The ball hit too far to the gap. Kettleson not able to throw Otis out, who showed a really good burst of speed to get to second base. And Bryson Glasgow, who doubled home a run in the 4th, will be the hitter. The Knights pull their infield in, down 4-2. First pitch from Singleton misses high, ball 1, 1-0. The Knights losing to the Portland Pickles in the 2024 South Division Championship game right here. The pitch to Glasgow, and he's going to get himself another run batted in. A fly ball to center, caught by Kettleson. Brock fires to third, conceding the run that Joey Wright scores. Otis makes it safely to third base. And that will bring to the plate with the run scoring and the Pickles adding to their lead. It's now 5-2, a sacrifice fly for Brian Glasgow, who's been an RBI machine here of late. Josh Schleichert, the batter. Tony Otis at third base with 2 down. The first pitch to Josh Schleichert, missing inside for ball 1, 1-0. 5-2, 3 runs in the inning for the Pickles. And now Schleichert is drilled by the Singleton pitch. And Josh trots down to first. Runners at the corners and 2 down. Singleton has had a tough time of it, giving up a home run to Michael Singleton to open the inning. Walks Stroop after a sacrifice bunt. A hard hit infield single, a double for Tony Otis, a sacrifice fly for Brian Glasgow, and Josh Schleichert hit by a pitch. Now Braden Wooldridge, the batter, has grounded to second and had a sacrifice fly. The Pickles doing to the Knights here tonight in the Knights' own ballpark what the Knights have done to so many teams through all of these championship summers. And the pitch to Wooldridge, a line drive, base hit to right field. And down the line to score yet another run, 4 in the inning now, is Tony Otis. And it's 6-2 Portland. And as much as we talk about the inconsequential nature on a certain level of this series, in terms of it not materially affecting the position of the teams for the postseason purposes. On the psychological side of things, Nick, I think the Knights don't want to get beat in their own house, and right now the Pickles are taking it to them.
Absolutely, and now they're in a pretty big hole after keeping ahead of them to start. But this, like you said, this doesn't really have ramifications for how it'll play out. But as a kind of showing what you have before heading into the playoffs, and if they run into each other again, it's like they're already in your head like that.
Yeah.
And also for the Knights, again, you're just showing what you can do right now before heading to the postseason, and not the most ideal start, but there's still a few innings left where they can get their chance.
The strike one pitch to Ellie Kligman, who swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. 4 runs in the inning for the Pickles to take a commanding 6-2 lead after pulling even with 2 runs in the 4th. The pitch on the way misses in the count 1-2. We're seeing tonight the difference between this Pickles outfit and many of the other teams that the Knights have been running roughshod over here of late, coming in as the hottest team in the league until running into these Pickles tonight. Kligman fouls one back and the count remains 1-2, and that is the Knights against teams with lesser records, not quite as talented, have been able to, even at times when they've left runners or if they've made a mistake on the base paths or made an ill-advised pitch, survive and move on and keep control of a game. But the Pickles haven't allowed that.
No.
They're just too good to give them the kinds of chances the Knights have. The pitch on the way hit foul in the count 1-2.
And this is when you show your chops too, is that when you go up against a team with higher talent, this is when you can show if you can stay with them and put up numbers like that. So yeah, as you said, they are able to handle weaker teams, but when you go up against a team like the Pickles, this is where you can really show how you can perform.
Kligman, a fly ball to right field that'll drop for a base hit. Coming round third is Josh Schleichart to score, and it's just business as usual for the Pickles, who open up a 5-run lead at 7-2 on the base hit for Ellie Kligman. And it's very impressive what the Pickles are up to here. Ellie Kligman with a base hit to right and an RBI.
Number 20, Connor Stewart.
And Connor Stewart, who began the inning by jumping on a pitch from Michael Singleton and hitting it over the 14-foot fence and left to get this 5-run frame started. It was indeed a harbinger. He takes a strike, does Connor, the second time around now against Michael Singleton. 7-2 Portland in the 5th. The Knights aren't used to this kind of treatment from anybody, but particularly here in their own ballpark. The strike one pitch missing and the count 1-1. But as Nick said, there's still plenty of time left for the Knights to kind of find themselves offensively. The Pickles have certainly done that over the last couple of innings. 7 runs, 8 hits now, and Portland in front. The pitch to Stewart, a fly ball to right field and playable. Cole Katayama Stahl makes the catch, but a huge inning for the class of the West Coast League in the summer of 2025. There's no question about that, but it is still part of the first season. The Knights know that they can make a lot of noise and flip things around in the second season, and against this team it would be a 1-game scenario if they get that opportunity. But so far tonight the Pickles have lived up to their lofty and gaudy record, coming in at 42-9. They're playing like that kind of a team. They score 5 to take a lead to the bottom of the 5th inning. At the end of 4.5, the Pickles 7, the Knights 2, back in 90 on the KBVR TV live stream and Joe Radio.
News that you can trust. Subscribe to the Gazette Times, your go-to source for in-depth journalism and breaking news. From local stories that impact your community to consistent updates to your Beavers and Knights, the Gazette Times has it all. For only $1 for 3 months, enjoy unlimited access to our e-edition, unlimited articles on GazetteTimes.com and our mobile app, and free access to newspapers.com archives. Subscribe today and join the Gazette Times community.
All right, we're starting 1 minute. We're going to start from black to cam 5. 2, let's get actually guitar and vocalist left side.
Leading things off for the Knights against Liam Golden in the bottom of the 5th inning. Liam delivering a first pitch strike to Ferrajaro. The 0-1 pitch missing, and the count 1-1. 7-2 Portland. Bottom of the 5th inning. The 1-1 pitch missing high, ball 2, 2-1. The Knights and Pickles again tomorrow night. Fan Appreciation Night on Wednesday. A lot of prizes to be given away. Hope to see you here the next couple of nights. And then Saturday night, the Knights will be back for at least one playoff game. The 2-1 pitch to Ferrajaro from Golden misses for ball 3, 3-1. The new format developed for the West Coast League playoffs the last couple of years has been well received, with 8 teams making the playoffs, and all 8 teams get at least one home game. The 3-1 pitch to Ferrajaro missing. Down and in, ball 4. And Maverick Russell, the batter. Maverick has flied to center and singled to right. He's made good contact in both of his at-bats. No one throwing in the Portland Pickles bullpen. They're in good shape in this ball game. The first pitch to Maverick misses outside, ball 1, 1-0. Jim Hoppel is the head coach of this outstanding Pickles team. Mark Magdaleno designated as the manager. It's a very good and full staff as part of this Portland Pickles group. Rose City Baseball, Alan Miller, co-owners John Ryan and Scott Barkus. Ball 2 now to Maverick Russell, and a little visit to the mound. The Knights trailing 7-2, but a leadoff walk and a 2-0 count, and Connor Stewart out to visit with Liam Golden. The pitching coach is Christian Scholl, who works with Jim Hoppel. Jim, the head coach at Clackamas Community College. And congratulations to Griffin Williams, part of the staff for Mark Magdaleno. Griffin has been an assistant for Andy Peterson the past 3 springs at Lynn Benton Community College and has worked his way into an assistant's job at Loyola Marymount. Congratulations to Griffin. A high pop fly on the infield. First baseman Josh Schleichert comes halfway down between the mound and halfway down the first baseline in fair territory to make the catch. One away. Trey Schweigert will be the batter. Trey has singled to left and grounded or drawn a walk. The Knights have drawn 5 walks in the ball game, and yet have kicked themselves a bit by leaving the bases loaded twice and having some base running mistakes that cost them a chance to build an early lead. They did lead it 2-0, but left plenty of runs on the table. Schweigert takes high, ball 1. 7-2 Portland. Trey swings and fouls it back. The count 1-1. So are you back now for the I mean, you're in for the rest of the school?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're in it to the long run.
And what do you got going then in the fall?
Well, we got football going on, broadcasting that. Of course, we're going to start baseball season up.
But you'll do football?
Or basketball. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, do you do some of the announcing?
Yes.
In football?
Yeah.
Play-by-play?
Yeah, play-by-play mainly.
Is that, if you have a particular goal, Nick, what is it in the profession? What do you want to do?
Pipe dream, take Al Michaels' job on Thursday Night Football. But, of course, continuing that.
The 1-1 pitch, Schweigert hits it foul to the left and out of play. 1-2 the count. Have you found yourself as a young man, Nick, from an early age, kind of broadcasting in your own head, the games while you're watching
When
them?
you play Madden when you're younger and you call the plays in your head, that's how I got started, basically.
Cool. Very good. Well, your knowledge of football is certainly, I can tell. I mean, I bring up Brady and the Patriots, and you've got that at your fingertips. So, are you a student of the game? You feel like you know the history of the league pretty well?
I like learning about the history of the league.
Yeah.
You know, it's always fun to learn, you know, always widen your mind like that.
Swigert rips the 1-2 pitch into right field. Base hit. Boy, he stoned that. So much so that the runner at first base, Ferrajaro, had to make sure he didn't get drilled by that line drive and hesitated, thus stops at second. But Swigert with a rope to right, base hit. Cole Katayama Stahl, the batter. The Knights trailing 7-2 in the bottom of the fifth, but to your point, a lot of baseball left.
Yeah, almost drilled his teammate there, but it was a good hit, though. Now you're almost to loading the bases, and now you can easily come back. You know, again, a lot of baseball to be played. There's still a chance to show why the Knights are one of the best teams in the West Coast.
Absolutely. In fact, the two best meeting right here tonight, the first of a 3-game series to close the regular season. Cole Katayama Stahl takes a strike. The count 0-1. Do you like Michaels as an announcer, Al Michaels?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I still think he has it.
How about the Cowboys? They're announcers.
Oh, yeah, I love them too, yeah.
Okay.
I think they got talent.
The strike one pitch missing outside, and the count 1-1. You say that there's Giants fans. I mean, Dallas is a gigantic market. I
yes,
get
it's
that.
huge.
So you have fans of all teams, I'm sure. Do you find that the general Cowboys fan is as frustrated with Jerry Jones as most of the rest of the world seems to be in terms of how he runs the organization?
I would assume so. You know, you have all that talent around you, and you just can't pay your best player on your team. I would assume so. I mean, everybody I've talked to from the DFW area shows their frustration. So I feel like the whole Cowboy delusion has somewhat left the DFW area.
Yeah, the way you say that, you sound like Al Michaels. The pitch to Katayama Stahl hit foul to the left. 1-2 the count, 2 on, 1 out, 7-2. The Pickles in front. The pitch to Katayama Stahl hits him on the right arm. And I think he's being called back, though, on a foul ball. And Brooke Knight is going to be very upset when he learns that that's being called a foul ball or that Katayama Stahl leaned into the pitch. Jacob Fisher, I think, is going to confer now with Hudson Boucher or Boucher. Or is it Brutus now, as it is in the out-of-towners? And we'll see. Brutzi. And no, the first base is awarded. Now, whether Mark Magdaleno comes out to take up the point with Jacob Fisher, we'll see. Mags is in a pretty good position, sitting pretty with the number 1 seed. Doesn't need, he leaves it alone, a la Helen Reddy in ruby red dress. So we've got the bases loaded on the hit batter to Cole Katayama Stahl. For a moment, it looked as though Fisher was going to bring Cole back and rule that a foul ball instead of a hit batsman. But Nick was referring to the Knights getting the bases loaded, and they have, and they're going to come through and get closer. A line drive base hit to right field. Ferrajaro scores. Swigert on his way to the plate. He scores. The ball gets through out at second base, and 3 runs score. Antonio Castro draws the Knights closer, with the Knights getting all 3 in. Thomas Ferrajaro, Trey Swigert, and Cole Katayama Stahl. Castro into second, and the Knights pull just like that to within 7-5. And Mark Magdaleno on his way to the plate. Big time moment for the Knights. Exactly what they needed after watching Portland put 5 up in the top of the inning. As Nick prophesied, plenty of baseball left. Nick, you're right, and the Knights are right back in this thing.
It's exactly where, like I said, you show your chops, and that is how you do it. What a spectacular turn of events for the Knights, and this is how now you can stay into it. Again, there is still a lot of baseball to be played, at least still a few more innings, and this is a perfect opportunity to hang in there and possibly get back in this one.
Connor Hale will be the new pitcher, young man out of Newburgh. We'll learn more about Connor in a moment. We've learned something about both of these clubs. They're both very good, they're opportunistic, and they're ultra competitive, particularly against each other. From 7-2 to 7-5, just like that. We'll be back in 2 minutes on this pitching change break on the KBVR TV and Knights live stream telecast. Back in 2 on Joe Radio.
Bryn Balick. I'm the editor-in-chief, and it is my great pleasure to introduce you all to Volume 145, Roots. We've been continuously amazed at how OSU student artists have embraced our theme. We've been trending toward home, heritage, community, connection, and nature.
Now batting for your Knights, it's the sophomore from Cal State Northridge, number 15, Xavier.
Newburgh High School Warner Pacific College goes to work on Xavier Rios, with the Knights taking advantage of an error on the throw back into the infield and getting a third run to score, and it pulled within 7-5. Antonio Castro at second. The pitch to Rios hit sharply to center and misplayed by Tony Otis out in right center field. Brooke Knight is going to hold Castro at third, and into second base goes Xavier Rios. The wind is pushing out, Nick, and I think that the ball kind of jumped on Tony Otis, and he was surprised. The wind must have pushed it a little bit.
Wind's coming in from the left of the stadium right now, and that took a perfect bounce for the Knights. And now you're starting to get that momentum swing back in your favor, and this could very much be a different game after a wild first two pieces of this matchup.
It's a very intriguing matchup. Wild's the right word. It goes as a double for Xavier Rios, although it appeared to be a catchable ball. Tony Otis saw it kind of jump on him, I think, with a little push from the wind. And now the batter, Quinn Dufort, a grounder to second, a run will score. Grafton Stroop fields and throws to first, but on the play, coming down the line, is Antonio Castro. 2 down in the inning. The Knights have pulled within a run at 7-6. The tying run now 90 feet away. Connor Hale taking over for Liam Golden, and it was quite a change just in terms of the sheer height from one pitcher to the next. Liam Golden at 6'4", Connor Hale, the right-hander out of Newburgh, at 5'7". 7-6, and the Knights look to try to get a bunt to tie the game up, but the push bunt by the right-handed hitter Brooks Avery is caught by Connor Hale right in front of the mound. A little too much on the bunt, and the inning does come to an end. But the Knights get right back in the game, scoring 4 runs in the inning. And so it's back to a nip and tuck affair, with the Knights getting 4 in the bottom of the 6th. The Pickles 7, the Knights 6, back in 90 on the KBVR and Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
We want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Grafton Stroop leading things off, takes the first pitch from Michael Singleton outside. The 1-0 pitch misses up and away, and Xavier Rios asks for time and quickly gets out to the mound to talk to his battery mate, with the count going to 2 balls and no strikes to Grafton Stroop, the 9-hole hitter for the Pickles, who built a 7-2 lead and saw the Knights close to within a run with a 4 spot of their own in the bottom of the 5th. In the 6th on this cool evening here in the Mid-Valley. Nick, I don't know how far you look ahead on your weather app or weather forecast, but I thought, and maybe you can confirm if you've heard the same, Singleton to the plate, fastball foul to the left and out of play. There's a chance of rain on Wednesday?
There is, yeah, there is a chance of rain. A light shower coming in from the east.
Oh, my goodness. I feel like it's, in an odd way, kind of a summer that really hasn't been. It never really kicked in my view. Although I guess we have some 90s also by the weekend.
Yes, yeah, we have some warm weather coming in still, so there's still some.
Rain.
I know,
Wednesday.
this early? Yeah.
The 3-1 pitch hit high in the air to left and deep. Back goes Quinn Dufort, leaps up, the ball goes off the middle of the fence. Quinn not able to make the catch, and into second base goes Grafton Stroop. Well, it's been kind of a rough go for Michael Singleton, giving up 5 runs and 4 hits and a home run last inning. A leadoff double here, part of the 4 hits last inning, the home run and a double. This one goes off the middle of the fence, the 14-foot fence in straightaway left. And that'll bring to the plate Tanner Griffith. Griffith sacrificed his last time up, the leadoff hitter. We'll see if he's asked to do so again. He's not. He swings and doesn't get it. 0-1 the count. 7-6 Pickles, top of the 6th inning. Tanner Griffith out of St. Mary's College, 52 games as a freshman 2 seasons ago, and was the everyday center fielder for the fine program that ended up coming up here for regional play. The strike 1 pitch is in there for strike 2. Tanner did show bunt that time, pulled the bat back and took a strike. It is my hope that St. Mary's College will become a part of the rebuilt Pac-12 as a non-football member, but I know their name has talked about tremendous basketball program, a growing baseball program. Tanner Griffith swings and misses, strike 3, 1 away. Joey Wright, the batter. How closely have you been following all the machinations of the rebuilding of the Pac-12?
As sad as it is to see go, I think that it was one of the best regional sport programs we still had from college sports. You know, I like the new one. I wish Texas State wasn't there, just so we can stay regional with all the teams we've had. But I would have loved St. Mary's. We already have a non-football school with Gonzaga, so it'd be cool to see another basketball program come in and make the Pac-12 a basketball and baseball heavy rebuilt conference.
I think St. Mary's is definitely in that conversation, and I like it. Joey Wright takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 7-6 Pickles, top of the 6th inning. Singleton's breaking ball misses. The count 1-1. Does your work as part of the Orange Media Network, KBVR, does it also, do you do some writing? Do you write it all for the barometer?
Yeah. I was one of the bigger ones I was keeping up with the Pac-12 was to write and keep up with it. So it was pretty cool to see the whole process of bringing back Texas State and having all the new schools join in.
So you've been covering that as part of the media network.
It's been really fun. So I would hope St. Mary's joins us. I think that would be a great addition for basketball.
Joey Wright taking high and inside, 2-1 the count. Grafton Stroop, a leadoff double, gets his lead from second. The 2-1 pitch, a line drive to left field. Base hit. Quinn Dufort plays it on a hop and gets the ball back in to the Knights' third baseman, Trey Swigert. Stopping at third base, Grafton Stroop. Joey Wright simply hit the ball too hard. Not a chance for Stroop to come home, with the third base coach making the call at Hector Infante, putting the stop sign up. Runners at first and third and 1 out. Tony Otis, the batter, and a chance for the Pickles to kind of reclaim the momentum. The Knights pulling within a run seem to have wrested the momentum away. A safety squeeze. The Knights with a chance for a play at the plate, and a great slide on the safety squeeze by Grafton Stroop, and he gets under the tag of Xavier Rios. Maverick Russell getting the ball quickly to Xavier, but Stroop really showing a burst, and with the head first slide, got his hand in under the tag, and the Pickles lead it 8-6.
It's a good run there, being able to slide under his hand and hit the home. That's what you want to see when you're trying to get that breakaway from the third base back to home to be safe, and it was a great run overall. And now the Pickles, as you said, draw even further with a 2-game lead, but there is still time. However, you would have to imagine that the pressure is on for Singleton to pick up his game.
The pitch on the way to Bryson Glasgow, who has an RBI double and a sacrifice fly. The incoming baseball player to Oregon State hits one foul to the right and out of play. Glasgow coming in from the junior college ranks in Clackamas Community College. Looking forward to seeing his bat stay hot with Oregon State beginning in the fall and into next spring. He takes a breaking ball for a strike. The count 0-2. 8-6 Pickles doing an excellent job after seeing the Knights close and seemingly getting the momentum on their side. Here come the Pickles with a run and threatening for more. Runners at first and second and 2 down. Glasgow fouls one in front of the Knights dugout. No balls and 2 strikes, so this may have been the best day of the week today. Cool in the low 70s and rain coming on Wednesday. We got to get the canopy out over our vantage point here come Wednesday. The strike 2 pitch from Singleton misses down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. A back pick down to first. Rios to Maverick Russell. Tony Otis able to get back. Otis has had a good game. Doubled in the first, walked and scored in the fourth, doubled and scored last inning, and gets an RBI here in the 6th. 8-6 Pickles. 2 on, 1 out. The 1-2 pitch down in the turf, backhanded by Xavier Rios. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Have you seen Beaver football yet? Any practices yet?
Oh yeah, we're keeping a close eye on them. It's exciting, you know, heading so close to college football season.
August 30th, the Beavers will open at home against Cal, so we're drawing nigh to Trent Bray's second full year. The runners go, a fly ball to right field, and it'll get down for a base hit. 2 runs, nope, 1 is in for sure with the runners going, and a stop sign put up on Tony Otis. But Joey Wright comes in to score. A double on the hit and run for Bryson Glasgow. Glasgow is on an unbelievable roll. Last week, in 6 games against Marion and Bend, he had 17 RBIs. He, in this ball game, has 3 RBIs tonight with a double, 2 doubles, 2 RBI doubles, and a sacrifice fly. 9-6 Portland. Runners at second and third and 1 out. The Knights pull their infield in. Josh Schleichart, the batter. Singleton misses high and inside. Ball 1, 1-0. Michael going a long way in this one tonight, and it speaks a little bit to, here's the 1-0 pitch down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. I keep needing, as much as both these teams clearly want to win, the Knights are showing and going with Michael, who's been struggling a little bit. We got to be honest about that. He's been hit pretty hard. It's not a game that either team in that sense has to win. The Knights don't have to win this game for playoff purposes and all of that. So Michael's being given a little more room to try to work things out. If a pennant were on the line, if a South Division championship were on the line, Michael probably would have been out quite a while ago. But he's been given a chance to try to find his stuff and work through some of the issues he's had, in that the game is not a quote-unquote must win. The 3-0 pitch fouled back. Schleichart given the green light, fouls it away. 3-1 the count. But it's been a tough couple of innings from Michael Singleton. Trying to keep it as close as he can now. Delivers a 3-1 pitch, hit high and foul, back of the plate and off the top of the McGrath family press box, where they've been able to restore the graphics and all of the hard workers inside. Andy Sloan, Drew West, Ben Agmon, Caden Ross, Elijah Ziegler, Brady Elliott, Phoebe, Brian Thomas. The pitch is in the turf for ball 4 to load the bases. And Mike Parker, honored to be working here with Nick Munoz next to me. With 1 out in the 6th, the Pickles leading 9-6, bases loaded for a new hitter It will be Braden Wooldridge, pardon me. Thought I had a different number. And now Bo Kearns, the Knights pitching coach, asked for time. Nick, you understand the point I'm making. I'm not wanting, Michael Singleton he doesn't have his best stuff here tonight.
Right.
But he's been given a chance to find it because of the nature of the game. It's not a must-win.
Exactly. You can go down your depth chart and allow these other guys to get extended play time, let them show what they can do, have the opportunity to make mistakes like this. As you said before, giving up that 5-run inning, you most likely would get pulled immediately after. But in a situation now where you have the lax more vibes here by being able to have less pressure on your team, you could now give these guys a chance to have a little more breathing room, and that allows Singleton to have these innings that he's been having. So I would hope that he can turn it around now, even though the bases are loaded, there still is a good chance that he can possibly turn it around and have a strong finish to the night and hopefully keep the Knights in this one as they slowly were able to come back, but now the odds are against their favor.
9-6, and you're right about, Michael trying to kind of get the feel for his stuff, and he's given a lot of room. And I hope for Michael's sake, for his sake, that he can find something good, and he does. A ground ball to Ferraggiaro, goes to Brooks Avery for one, and on to first for a double play. A great visit by Bo Kearns, and Michael Singleton gets exactly what he needed to kind of pick his own spirits up. An inning-ending 4-6-3 double play ball off the bat of Braden Wooldridge. But the Pickles do get two and kind of reestablish their sense of momentum in this topsy-turvy affair. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Portland Pickles are bringing a new pitcher in. We'll take a 2-minute pitching change break. The Pickles 9 and the Corvallis Knights 6 on the KBVR TV Knights live stream. 1240 Joe Radio broadcast back in 2 to the bottom of the 6th.
Just to remind you, you are listening to Terrarium Time with me, DJ Chameleon, only on KBVR Corvallis. Then a 9-6 Portland. This is a game that you really can't turn your back on at all. Because if you do, you can look up and be quite surprised by what's unfolding on the field. The Knights had a 2-0 lead, trailed by as many as 7-2, pulled within 7-6, now trail 9-6. Brock Kettleson, the batter for the Knights, leading things off against the new pitcher, Nick Bakura, a right-hander out of San Francisco State and from a beautiful beach town. Oh my gosh, Manhattan Beach in Southern California, gorgeous beach.
The 1-0 pitch to Brock Kettleson, a strike, and the count 1-1. The last time I just jogged by or walked by Manhattan Beach, it just seemed like the whole of the Southland was playing sand beach volleyball. Everybody in Southern California at once playing volleyball at Manhattan Beach. Kettleson whacks one into left center field. He's on his way for 2, and he's thrown out. Kettleson is thrown out by Braden Wooldridge. Brock trying to get an extra base. He's been the premier base runner in the West Coast League this summer, but the 4th base running mistake, in my view, tonight that the Knights have made. Kettleson is ultra aggressive. He's one of the best baseball players ever to don Knights gear. He drilled a single to left, but he hit it in a sense too hard. And instead of a leadoff single, well, Brock gets that, but he tries to stretch it into a double and is thrown out 7-4. 1 away, Thomas Ferraggiaro, the batter. 9-6, Portland. And the pressure thus not on, in a sense, from the get-go, with Nick Pecura delivering a strike to Ferraggiaro. And Nick, I think that's what comes of putting a little extra pressure on yourself to try to do more maybe than you should try to do. The strike 1 pitch in there for strike 2 to Thomas Ferraggiaro.
Right, trying to have too much on your back to have to try to basically feel like you have to win the game essentially for your team, but that's not really the case here. And hopefully they can get that through their head, that they can allow themselves to have a few more errors and put some ease so that throughout the game they can have a better performance.
The strike 2 pitch, Ferraggiaro fouls it back. The count remains 0-2. A leadoff single for Kettleson, but then is thrown out trying to stretch a hard hit ball into left into a 2-bagger and was thrown out easily. Brock tried to make it close by an unorthodox sort of awkward slide, but got tagged out. So instead of a leadoff single and a runner at first and nobody out, the base is empty, and the strike 2 pitch to Ferraggiaro from Pecura swung on and missed, strike 3. And just like that, 2 down, and the Pickles continue to, in a very real sense, have control of the proceedings. The Knights wrested some of it away with their 4-run 5th inning, but now trail it 9-6 and 2 outs and nobody on. Pecura making his 13th appearance. He's been a workhorse for Christian Scholl and the staff led by the manager Mark Magdaleno. 12 innings coming in, and he's pitched well. 7 hits, 3 runs, 8 walks, 26 strikeouts in 12 innings for Nick Pecura. He misses to Maverick Russell. Now the 1-0 fastball in there for a strike. 1-1 the count. Pecura, the 3rd pitcher of the evening, following Ari Kligman. 4th pitcher, pardon me. Ari Kligman, Liam Golden, Connor Hale, and now Pecura. The 1-1 pitch hit sharply, but backhanded off the turf by Josh Schleichart, who takes it to the bag for the out. Pecura, 5'11", 200-pounder out of San Francisco State. Gets the job done, facing the minimum here in the bottom of the 6th. So the Knights go quickly, no runs, a hit, nobody left. We go to the 7th. Portland 9, the Knights 6. A new pitcher coming in for the Knights, a left-hander, looks like Tanner Douglas. We'll be back after this 2-minute pitching change break on KBVR TV and 1240 Joe Radio.
Subscribe to the Gazette-Times, your go-to source for in-depth journalism and breaking news. From local stories that impact your community to consistent updates to your Beavers and Knights, the Gazette-Times has it all. For only $1 for 3 months, enjoy unlimited access to our e-edition, unlimited articles on GazetteTimes.com and our mobile app, and free access to newspapers.com archives. Subscribe today and join the Gazette-Times community.
The senior from Oregon State, number 41, Tanner Douglas. Leading off for the Pickles, number 52, Ellie Blakeman.
6 innings at Goff Stadium at Coleman Field. The Portland Pickles 9 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors. The Corvallis Knights 6 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Left-hander Tanner Douglas takes over pitching duties in the 7th inning, and he delivers a first pitch strike to Ellie Kligman. 0-1 the count. Ellie has popped a second, struck out, and had an RBI single. He hits a ground ball to the left of Ferrajaro. Ferrajaro knocks it down, but isn't able to find a handle, and it's another base hit for the Portland Pickles, who are wearing the Knights out, leading 9-6, and get their 12th hit of the night. So they are living up to everything we've heard about them, Nick. I mean, they're no fluke, and they're 42-9 for a reason.
No, they definitely are showing why they're the top-ranked team in the South Division of the West Coast League. This is what they do best, is wear you down, take a late lead high, and then just walk away with the win.
Tanner Douglas to the plate. Connor Stewart shows bunt. Fastball a little low, ball 1, 1-0. Connor has grounded to second, homered to left, and that was a big blow in the game because that was smashed over the 14-foot fence, and that set the Pickles off on a 5-run 5th inning to take command of this one. They lead it 9-6 in the 7th. Again, showing bunt is Connor Stewart. The ball gets away from Xavier Rios, and down to second base on the wild pitch goes Ellie Kligman. And Connor Stewart now with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. I doubt whether he's bunting again with this count. Mark Magdaleno calls the offense from within the dugout on the first base side. 9-6 Pickles, top of the 7th inning. 2 balls and no strikes to Connor Stewart. Connor is bunting, and he gets the bunt down. Douglas comes off, bare hands, fires low just in time to Thomas Ferrajaro. That was a fastball from Douglas, both to the hitter for the bunt and then on his ensuing throw to first. That was close.
That was very close, but he was able to get it off just enough time, and they can avoid another man on the outside.
The sacrifice goes 1-4. Ellie Kligman to third.
Number 10.
Mark Magdaleno playing for the 1 run and a chance to really build the commanding lead. It's already 9-6. But in a position now where a grand slam, if he gets this next run in, could only tie you, playing out the worst case scenario from the Pickles perspective. The pitch to Grafton Stroop missing for ball 1, 1-0. The Knights pull their infield in. Douglas's 1-0 pitch, a fastball for a strike from Tanner. The count 1-1. Maverick Russell at first, Thomas Ferrajaro at second, Brooks Avery at short, Trey Swigert at third, all in. In the outfield, Quinn Dufort in left, Brock Kettleson in center, Cole Katayama Stahl in right. The 1-1 pitch slapped down the left field line, foul. The count 1-2. The Pickles have had an amazing year, a record-setting attendance year in Portland at Lentz Park and Walker Stadium in Southeast. Beautiful setting, tremendous atmosphere. And the atmosphere was incredible a couple of days ago when, in a promotion, the Pickles called a fan out of the stands to participate in a non-league game, and the fan drew a walk and then hit a home run. I mean, that's unbelievable. You can't script it better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, if you would, Hollywood, no one would believe it. Well, there is an element of stage. It was staged to an extent in that the kid that hit the home run, he had to hit it, but he is a guy that's played some baseball and is on their analytics staff, I think, an intern. The 2-2 pitch, a ground ball to short, and Brooks Avery with the infield in, fields and is able to hold Kligman at third and throw to first. 2 down. Tanner Griffith, the batter. Did you see that video?
I did see that video, yeah. I kind of knew that he was probably on the staff just because it's like, there's no way they can pull a fan and he can send it out to the left parking lot.
No, I know. It was a great moment. Yeah. And whether there was an element of, there was an element of it being staged and crafted, but the kid still had to hit the ball over the fence.
No, absolutely, yeah.
You can't script that.
He's got
to do it. The pitch to Tanner Griffith, missing inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch from Douglas down and in, ball 2, 2-0. But that was such a dramatic and fun kind of moment. It drew a lot of national attention, a lot of hits on social media, and covered nationally, and good for the Pickles. Ground ball back up the middle. Brooks Avery to his left. Nice play by Brooks. Fields and throws to first to retire the side. The Knights do a good job defensively in the inning to keep the Pickles from adding to their lead here in the top of the 7th. No runs, a hit, a man left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's Portland 9 and the Corvallis Knights 6 back in 90 on the KBVR TV and 1240 Joe Radio live stream.
Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Seventh inning, the Knights trailing 9-6. Trey Swigert leading things off for the Knights against the right-hander Nick Bakura in the first pitch, missing for ball 1. 1-0 to Trey. The 1-0 pitch lined into center field, base hit. Tony Otis plays it on a hop, gets the baseball back in. We're seeing some really good swings tonight, Nick. Both teams hitting the ball hard. A lot of good baseball from both clubs.
A lot of good ground bounces the balls have taken from the hits. They've been able to go over the heads of a lot of the opposing outfielders, and they've taken a lot of good rolls. We've seen some go far. We've seen some, of course, stay within the diamond, and that's really been the best advantage for both of their hittings, is to just see if they can get a good bounce and get the nearest guy to the next base.
Solid single to center for Trey Swigert. Cole Katayama Stahl, the batter. First pitch strike to Cole, 0-1 the count. The teams have combined for 15 runs and 22 hits. 12 hits for the Pickles. The Knights now with 10. Portland closing in on setting the all-time wins record for the West Coast League. They caught the Knights at 42. And if they win one of these 3 games, they will stand alone with the most wins in the single season of the West Coast League, going back to 2005. The pitch missing to Katayama Stahl. 1-1 the count. A leadoff single for Trey Swigert. The 1-1 pitch swung on and fouled straight back. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Cole Katayama Stahl has singled, been hit by a pitch and scored. Also drew a walk. 9-6 Portland, but an interesting ball game to be sure. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Knights trying to find the comeback trail. Fly ball to left field and playable for Braden Wooldridge. He moves in and under to make the catch. 1 away. Antonio Castro, the designated hitter, will be the hitter. So did you go to many Rangers games growing up?
I did go to many Rangers games. Now, I unfortunately did not start becoming a fan before the World Series, but I did go to a few games.
Okay. I've not been to a ball game, a major league game ever, and I've been to Arlington for Beaver football. We played Texas Christian University at a game down there in 2010 in Jerry's World. The pitch on the way is outside, ball 1. Have you been to any Cowboys games?
Yes, I've been to AT&T a few times.
Castro taking ball 1, 1-0. What's it like to see a ball game in Arlington?
It's pretty fun. You know, the crowd definitely, it depends on who they're playing when deciding the turnout for how the Rangers games usually go.
The 1-1 pitch, Castro swings and misses. Or the 1-0 pitch, pardon me, to run the count to 1-1. 9-6 Portland. Game 1 of 3 in a game that clearly the competitive juices are flowing in, even with, quote unquote, not a lot on the line. Castro tried to check his swing, but he went around. The count 1-2. There seems to just be an intensity of purpose, maybe even as we've suggested here and there. Guys trying to do a little too much. Self-imposed pressure, the standings, none of this really matters these next 3 games. They're locked into their positions for the postseason, but boy, the guys aren't playing like it. They're playing like they need to win right now. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. Bacura is a strikeout pitcher, there's no question. His 26 strikeouts in 12 innings coming in. He now has 28 strikeouts nearly through 2 innings, getting 1 last inning and 1 here. 2 down. And Xavier Rios, the batter. Good ball game for Xavier. Singled home a run in the 2nd. Grounded into a double play in the 3rd with the bases loaded. Doubled then in his last at-bat. Trey Swigert gets his lead from first. Bacura delivers high and away, ball 1. 1-0 to Xavier Rios. Quinn Dufort, the on-deck hitter. 9-6 Portland, bottom of the 7th inning. Bacura set, delivers, good fastball, swung on and missed. Got a little life on that pitch, Nick. And the strikeouts, 28 now in 13 2/3 innings.
He's a reliable pitcher for them. He really can turn the tide of a game when you give him the chance to go out on the mound.
Trying to keep the Pickles in front, 9-6, turns and throws to first. Trey Swigert back. The Knights along the way early had a runner thrown out at the plate. They had a runner picked off. They had a runner caught in a rundown between first and second. It has not been in that sense. And Brock Kettleson then thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double. 4 different plays on the base pass out of character for the Knights tonight. Down 9-6. Bacura throws over to first base again. And again, Trey Swigert back. Trey's had a good ball game. He's 3 for 4. Got a lively bat, that's for sure. Trey gets his lead. He scored a run back in the Knights' 4-run 5th to draw the Knights at that time to within a run. Now trail at 9-6. The 1-1 pitch to Xavier misses high for ball 2. 2-1, bottom of the 7th. The attendance tonight, 1,542. 1,542 on a cool Monday night here in the Mid-Valley. The 2-1 pitch, down and away, ball 3. 3-1. I'm going to take a look here as we approach 9 o'clock just to see where we are in terms of the temperature. It's one of the cooler evenings of August ever.
It is.
At Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. 64 degrees, winds blowing out about 12 miles per hour, but I don't remember an August night quite like this. It ain't a Neil Diamond kind of August night. The 3-1 pitch swung on and hit foul back of the plate into the forbidden zone. The construction area. We've got Waldo Way, Urchin Alley, and this year the addition is the forbidden zone. And I feel the youngsters just look longingly every time a ball goes in that area. They're just
I see
staring
them
and trying to find a way to circumvent the fences and the wire to get to those baseballs, but they can't. What do you see?
the quick contemplation to see if they should jump the fence or not to see to go get the ball.
The 3-2 pitch is outside. Trey Swigert going. The 3-2 pitch missing for ball 4. Quinn Dufort will come to the plate, and these innings, I mean, there's pressure both teams seem to apply to the other every inning. There's never anything easy for either team in this game.
Like you said, this game is, even though it has very little implications, they're playing it like it's a playoff game. These two teams want to show what they can do to each other.
No doubt.
And the way this is playing out, they definitely are displaying that tonight.
Quinn Dufort, the hitter. Quinn has walked, grounded to second, and had an RBI ground out to second. 2 on and 2 out. Dufort trying to draw the Knights a little bit closer, down 9-6. Takes a strike. 0-1 the count to Quinn. The Pickles trying to take game 1 of the series and cool the Knights off a little bit. The hottest team in the league coming in. The strike 1 pitch missing in the turf. 1-1 the count. The Knights with 9 consecutive wins coming in. The last time I saw them lose a game in Nanaimo in a walk-off in British Columbia, and the Knights coming back with sweeps over Yakima Valley, Walla Walla, and Springfield. 9 straight wins coming in, but they've come in back home to the Pickles and trail it 9-6 in the 7th, but they're going to get closer now. A line drive base hit to center field. Trey Swigert on his way to the plate. Swigert scores, and into third base with a head first slide goes Xavier Rios. Now Portland 9 and the Knights 7.
Rios with the excellent dive to take the third. What an exceptional run on his part. And just like that, you come crawling back into a position to take the lead and make this another close game. Cannot emphasize how nice of a slide that was on Rios.
Great slide.
Excellent attempt to take the third. And now you have a man on the final base to possibly take home.
That'll be Brooks Avery coming to the plate. The Knights with the tying runs on base. Quinn Dufort ripping an RBI single. The scoreboard tells it all. 9 runs, 12 hits for Portland. 7 runs, 11 hits for the Knights. Competitive battle to be sure, and a good one. Thanks for joining us tonight on the KBVR TV stream and here on 1240 Joe Radio. The pitch missing high and inside to Brooks Avery. Ball 1. 1-0. 9-7, bottom of the 7th. 2 on, 2 out. Nick Pecura out of the stretch to the plate. Fastball away. Ball 2, 2-0 to Brooks Avery with Brock Kettleson on deck, and the pitching coach Christian Scholl out of Clackamas Community College asking for time and is on his way out to the mound for a visit with Pecura. The Pickles have a right-hander playing catch in their bullpen, but on this cooling Monday night, he is doing so, playing a game of catch with a hoodie on, some sort of jacket that covers up his number. So I'm not sure whom Coach Scholl has up playing catch in the bullpen, but Pecura has run into a little trouble here in the 7th, and the Knights have fought back again. Still trailing 9-7, but there's just a feel in the ballpark that the battle is going to keep on going, and the Knights are putting the pressure on now with a count of 2 balls and no strikes to Brooks Avery, who's already walked twice, and he'd gladly take another with Brock Kettleson on deck. The 2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Brooks Avery was thinking of drawing the Knights closer on his own part. 2 balls and a strike. The catcher Connor Stewart out in front of the plate with some coverage signals. as to what, and defensive strategy as to what Portland may do in the event that Quinn Dufort runs from first. Xavier Rios at third. The 2-1 pitch, good fastball, swung on and missed. 2-2 the count. That one tied up Brooks Avery. Good pitch from Nick Pecura. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out, a 2-run Portland Pickles lead. Bottom of the 7th inning. Pecura trying to get through what has been a problematic inning. The right-hander delivers, swung on and missed, strike 3 to retire the side. Pecura with 2 more strikeouts, but the Knights do draw a little bit closer in what has been a very entertaining ball game, the first of 3 from the 2 best teams in the West Coast League. The Knights pick up a run on 2 hits. They leave 2. We go to the 8th. Portland 9, the Knights 7, back in 90 on KBVR TV and 1240 Joe Radio.
Doesn't have to break the bank. 80% of Oregonians received financial assistance through OregonHealthcare.gov last year, and you might qualify too. At OregonHealthcare.gov, you can explore quality health plans from trusted insurers and find one that fits your budget and your needs. Our plans are built with you in mind, so you can compare prices and benefits, no sales tactics included. We're here to get you covered, Oregon.
Eighth inning, 9-7 Portland. Tanner Douglas delivering a first pitch a bit high and away to Joey Wright. The 1-0 pitch to the shortstop for the Pickles misses again. Ball 2, 2-0. And Tanner Douglas misses high and away. Ball 3, 3-0 the count. Top of the 8th, 2-run ball game on a breezy, cooling Monday night here in the heart of the Valley. The 3-0 pitch down the middle for a strike. Joey taking all the way, 3-1. Joey Wright, Tony Otis, and Bryson Glasgow. Glasgow an RBI machine, 3 more tonight for the Pickles. 3-1 pitch is outside, and Glasgow could indeed be set up to get a chance for another one in a moment, depending on what Mark Magdaleno wants to do with Tony Otis. Otis has had a good ball game. Doubled in the first, walked and scored in the 4th, doubled and scored in the 5th. And then safety squeezed home a run in the 6th inning. We're in the 8th. He's bunting. He shows and takes down and in. Ball 1, 1-0 to Tony. Tony Otis, out of William Jessup University, went to Spring Valley High School in Las Vegas, began his collegiate career at the University of the Pacific. He shows bunt, pulls back, and takes high. Ball 2, 2-0. This past spring at Jessup, a Division II program, a really good year. Led the league in triples, hit 7 homers, played in 53 games at Jessup. 2 balls and no strikes to Tony Otis. Joey Wright held on at first by Maverick Russell. Douglas to the plate, and a ground ball base hit into left field for Tony Otis. Quinn Dufort gets the ball back in, and here come the Pickles with a chance to get another run, and it's Bryson Glasgow, the Oregon State-bound right-handed hitter coming to the plate. Glasgow has flied to right, had an RBI double, had a sacrifice fly, and another RBI double. For us sitting here, Nick, you an Oregon State student, yours truly having called Beaver stuff for 27 years. The runners go and the pitch goes to the backstop. A wild pitch. I want the Knights to win, believe me, I surely do. But if anybody's going to hurt the Knights tonight, I'm not terribly upset that it's Glasgow, the future Beaver, with 3 RBIs.
If anything, I'm excited that he's performing this well, considering that, that would definitely be a nice addition to the program.
No
doubt. It definitely is a conflicted feeling.
No question about that. And he has a chance now for 2 more RBIs, a drawn-in infield. He takes a strike and the count 1-1. Glasgow has 3 RBIs, came in with 17 last week in 1 week of games. Now has a chance for 2 more here against the Corvallis Knights. The 1-1 pitch taken down and in, ball 2, 2-1. The Knights drawing their infield in, Maverick Russell, Thomas Ferragaro, Brooks Avery, and Trey Swigert in the top of the 8th. The Knights trailing 9-7. Portland, in a very real sense, looking to deliver what would seem to be a reeling blow if they get a couple of more runs here. The 2-1 pitch to Glasgow misses again, ball 3. Tanner Douglas is a pitch away from loading the bases against his future teammate. Josh Schleichard on deck. 3 balls and a strike. Tanner out of the stretch, delivers. Hit sharply, speared by Brooks Avery, playing in. And Avery throws to first. Good play for the out, taking a base hit and RBI away from Glasgow and keeping the Knights, quite frankly, in the game. Good play by Brooks. Josh Schleichert, the batter.
Cat-like reflexes there by Brooks Avery, being able to field the ball out in open field. That is an excellent play there. And like you said, now the Pickles, although they were favorable with a possible chance to get another runner out there, Avery's able to prevent that.
It looks as though the Knights may walk Schleichert intentionally, and they will, to set up a double play ball. Schleichert himself is a good hitter, but he's intentionally walked with first base open, bringing Braden Wooldridge, a left-handed hitter, to the plate. So that creates a couple of things. 1, the double play inning-ending scenario, and 2, a left versus left matchup here. Douglas working on Wooldridge, who did ground into a double play in the 6th inning. It also, the one negative of making a move like that is, it puts pressure on Douglas to fill up the zone. He led off the inning with a walk. He falls behind now to Wooldridge, 1-0 with no place to put Braden. Bases loaded, 1 out. The 1-0 pitch. Woolridge, a fly ball to shallow left center field. This will be deep enough to get a run home. Dufort makes the tag. Joey Wright the catch, and Joey Wright tagging to score on the sacrifice fly. It's a big RBI for Wooldridge. His 3rd of the night, a sacrifice fly to left. Coming in to score, Joey Wright, who drew the leadoff walk, and the Pickles lead it 10-6.
It's been the Pickles game tonight, has been the sacrifices, allowing the other man to get their chance to go out and score and benefit the team in return for you getting the quick out. So it definitely has been a strategy that's paid dividends for the Pickles tonight.
No doubt. And as I said, it's sort of watching the Pickles do their thing tonight, leading 10-7 now. It's reminiscent of what we've seen the Knights do a lot this year, what we've seen them do throughout their championship seasons, 10 of them, including 7 in a row until the Pickles dethroned them last year. But the Pickles have just been, as you said, Nick, executing the game about as well as you can with all of the sac flies and the safety squeezes. A throw to second. Oh, my goodness. It looked like the Knights had the runner picked. And the base umpire, Hudson Boucher, says safe. And that's a break, a big break for the runner out at second base. Tony Otis, I think, was out.
Ooh, that was close. Yeah. That looked like he tagged him before he got to the base.
Yep.
And, man, what a break that would have been for the Knights, having 3 runners out.
I agree. We'll see now if Tanner Douglas can get through it even so. The strike one pitch hit foul. An excellent move the Knights made, Douglas made. The inning should probably be over. A youngster gets a baseball just to our right. Good to see that. Hasn't been much action in Urchin Alley tonight. I think I've mentioned Urchin Alley once. That's perhaps a record low. Douglas to the plate. The strike two pitch, tap foul, one-handed by Brooke Knight.
Wow.
Nonchalantly made that look easy.
That was impressive by Coach Knight.
I agree. Good baseball player himself. Played baseball and football for the Beavers, and great athlete, outstanding coach, 10 championships under his belt with the Knights. The strike two pitch missing up and away. 1-2 the count to Ellie Kligman. But inning after inning, it seems the Pickles have the answer with the moving runners, with sacrifice flies or bunts. It's been impressive. They lead it 10-7 in the 8th. 2 on, 2 out. 1-2 to Ellie Kligman. He swings, and it's a line drive to right field, base hit. And the runner that wasn't called out at second, Tony Otis, comes in to score. And the Pickles lead it 11-7. And that's again an example of what the good teams do. They don't need much help. They got a little help on the call at second, it appeared, from Hudson Boucher. But they make the Knights pay. Kligman an RBI single. Tony Otis scoring from second. Into third base goes Josh Schleichart. The Pickles lead it 11-7 in the top of the 8th inning. Connor Stewart, the batter. 11 runs, 14 hits for Portland. The Knights aren't used to this kind of treatment. Tanner Douglas to the plate. Fastball for a strike. The count 0-1.
You see the frustration from Thomas out in the outfield after the rough call.
Out of the stretch works Tanner. The strike one pitch missing. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 more runs for the Pickles here in the 8th inning. The Knights scored first, getting 2 runs in the second, but left the bases loaded in both the second and third innings, and that seemed to open the door for the Pickles, who generally speaking have controlled the proceedings since. The 1-1 pitch missing for ball 2. 2 Witt, 2 runs in the 4th, 5 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 2 here in the 8th. 11-7 Portland, closing in on snapping the Knights' winning streak at 9 games. The 2-1 pitch, a line drive, base hit to center field. Josh Schleichart comes down the line to score. The Pickles lead it 12-7. Connor Stewart with the RBI single. He had homered back in the 5th. And again, Nick, this gets back to, and why I think it's important, win or lose tonight. With right now, the mood is down. The guys, you know, the body language, all of that, like you were talking about. Just the Knights either need to fight back and make it close tonight, or come back tomorrow and Wednesday and feel better should they have a rematch coming with the Pickles in the playoffs. Right now, it just feels like the Pickles own the Knights the way this one's going right now.
Right, mentally they have their number right now, and you would expect the Knights down the line to improve, but I would assume that they still try to play their best ball, keep it a close game, don't want to get completely discouraged, but I would definitely assume that you come back the next time and just try to do your best to lay it out.
Grafton Stroop shows bunt, and Tanner Douglas throws one over the head of his battery mate Xavier Rios to the backstop for a wild pitch. And now the Pickles are a base hit away from another 5-run inning with runners at second and third and 2 down for Stroop, who has struck out, walked, doubled, and grounded out. Second and third, 2 down, 12-7 Portland. Stroop hits one high in the air, foul off third. This will carry out of play above the Jack Riley concourse into the upper grandstand down the left field line. 1-2 to Stroop. I'm trying to account. I think there are 4 sacrifice flies tonight and a safety squeeze sacrifice bunt by the Pickles as part of what has been, even without all of that. I mean, those are sac flies, not hits, but they have 15 hits to go with all of that too, and 12 runs. Pitch is fouled back. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 down, 3 runs in the inning. Ellie Kligman at third, Connor Stewart at second. The pitch gets away on strike 3. The throw to first is not in time. Grafton Stroop aboard on the strikeout wild pitch. The bases are loaded for the 9th man to come to the plate in the inning in Tanner Griffith.
Another situation where the Pickles are in a really good look with all runners on the board.
Yeah. Now, it's going to be important to the rest of the night, yes, but I would say I'm not giving up completely on this one from the Knights' perspective, but
Correct.
it will be vitally important to bounce back tomorrow.
Right.
To play a cleaner and better game. And the Pickles have certainly flexed their muscles and shown, again, why they've tied the Knights for the all-time wins in the history of this league. The 1-0 pitch from Douglas misses to Tanner Griffith. Ball 2, 2-0. Bases loaded, 2 down, 3 runs in. The Pickles have really opened it up here with the 3-run frame, but have a chance to bust it wide, wide open here. A fly ball to left field. Quinn Dufort can't get it. In fact, slides into trying to make a catch, and 3 runs will score. The ball rolling all the way into the left field corner on his way to third and getting in with a stand-up triple is Tanner Griffith. And the Pickles lead it 15-7. Breaking it wide, wide open as I suggested they could with 6 runs in the inning, and they're not done yet. And this is a tough night. It's the kind of night that I don't see very often here, Nick. Fans are getting up and beginning to head off into the night as the Knights fall behind 15-7 in the 8th inning. It's not something you see happen very often in this ball.
No, usually you'd expect the stands to still be filled this late, but as you said, this is a very rare occurrence for the Knights. But unfortunately, it has resulted in them slowly losing momentum. And as you said, the game's broken wide open, and now it's pretty much the Pickles' game to lose.
Yeah, and so with Bo Kearns on his way out, Bo is inquiring whether he has a visit. And if he has one more, he's going to make a visit and not make a pitching change. And Bo rarely makes changes on his own. That's usually Brooke Knight's department.
Correct.
But Bo comes out. He's talking with the home plate umpire, Jacob Fisher. Had the right call at second base been made, and Bo will make the move here now and take the baseball away from Tanner Douglas, and he will, and make a call to the bullpen. Brooke usually handles that on his own, but maybe there needed to be an inquiry first. Whatever the case, this game would be 10-7 had that out been called on the pickoff play at second, not 15-7.
Right, going back to that play,
right.
I mean, that will probably be something that you put up on a bulletin board that will sting you later on as you see, but that definitely is a brutal call that will most likely be talked about for a while when it comes to these nights. But unfortunately, that's how the ball bounces. That's what's the ump rules, and well, you just got to keep playing.
Now, no doubt, and the Pickles have certainly done that. They took advantage of a second chance in the inning when it appeared Otis had been picked off, and so to the Pickles' great credit, they have busted the game wide open. The Knights will make a move to their bullpen. We will take a 2-minute pitching change break. We're in the 8th, 15-7 Portland, back in 2 on the KBVR TV live stream.
News that you can trust. Subscribe to the Gazette Times, your go-to source for in-depth journalism and breaking news. From local stories that impact your community to consistent updates to your Beavers and Knights, the Gazette Times has it all. For only $1 for 3 months, enjoy unlimited access to our e-edition, unlimited articles on GazetteTimes.com and our mobile app, and free access to newspapers.com archives. Subscribe today and join the Gazette Times community.
All right, we're starting 1 minute. We're going to start from black to cam 5. 2, let's get actually guitar and vocalist left side.
Comes in from out of left field to pitch for the Corvallis Knights, who trail it 15-7 in the top of the 8th. Quinn delivers a first pitch strike to the 10th man to come to the plate in the inning. Tanner Griffith taking high. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. The 1-1 pitch to Joey Wright, a looper to shallow right field. Coming in a hurry is Cole Katayama Stahl to make the catch, and the inning is finally over. But the Portland Pickles score 6. By the way, Brooks Avery moved out to left field, and Blake Wilson came into the game to play shortstop. Quinn Dufort coming out of left to pitch. The Portland Pickles, in a rare event here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, have sent some of the fans home a little bit earlier. 6 runs in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Portland 15, the Corvallis Knights 7. We'll be back in 90 on the Knights live stream on KBVR TV and Joe Radio.
Just to remind you, you are listening to Terrarium Time with me, DJ Chameleon, only on KBVR Corvallis. Inning. Carter Spites, 6'3", 200 out of UC Davis, Tustin, California. Spells his name as Omar, but pronounces it Spites, S-P-E, as in Omar. First pitch from Spites to Brock Kettleson. Big rip and fouls it back. No balls and a strike. 15-7 Portland. Bottom of the 8th inning. Let's see if there's better news tonight. Brooks Hatch has delivered to me what former Knights and Beavers may have done at the major league level this evening. A very emphatic train whistle out behind the right field bleachers. The strike 1 pitch missing high to Brock Kettleson. The Knights had a lead in this ball game a long time ago. 2-0 in the second. Trailed 7-2. Pulled within a run at 7-6, now trail at 15-7. Kettleson swings and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Brock has popped out, walked, struck out, single to left, tried to stretch the single into a double in the 6th. The 8:59's a little later tonight, coming through at 9:27. Kettleson, a looper to shallow left field, going out and making the backhanded grab is the shortstop, Joey Wright. 1 away. Thomas Ferragaro, the batter.
Excellent job by Wright, tracking the ball with his left hand, looking over his shoulder to keep his pace with it. It was an excellent job to feel him out.
It was a good read on Joey's part. 1 gone. Thomas Ferragaro has singled to left, hit back to the box with the bases loaded in the 2nd. Walked and scored in the 5th and struck out in the 6th. The Knights led 2-0 and had the bases loaded with a chance to add on to the lead. And that was a big moment in the game, looking back, when
instead of it going from 2-0, perhaps to 3, 4, or 5, the Knights had the opportunity, and a good job by the starting pitcher, Ari Kligman, to limit the Knights to the 2 runs. And now the right-hander Carter Spites missing to Ferraggiaro, 2 balls and no strikes. The 5th pitcher of the evening for Portland, the Pickles, in command at 15-7. 1 out, nobody on. Spites delivers. Swung on and hit foul by Ferraggiaro to the left and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, there is some good news on the former Beaver, former Knight front. Former Beaver Trevor Larnach blasted his 14th home run today for the Twins. Brooks Lee, a former Knight, Trevor's teammate, went 0 for 3 in a 6-3 Twins loss to Detroit. Ferraggiaro takes a strike, and the count 2-2. Adley Rutschman, a former Beaver, former Knight, a double, 1 for 3 and a run scored in the Orioles' 13-3 loss to the Phillies. Former Beaver, former Knight, Stephen Kwan went 2 for 5 with a run scored. Carter Spites to the plate, a 2-hopper to the second baseman, Grafton Stroop, who fields and overhands to first, quickly 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Maverick Russell will be the batter. Quaney going 2 for 5 in a Guardians 7-6 victory over the New York Mets in 10. And Michael Conforto's sub-Mendoza line woes continue for the Dodgers. Michael's in the starting lineup for the Dodgers at home tonight against St. Louis, but Conforto is 0 for 3 and has just really had a rough season in Los Angeles. The pitch on the way to Maverick Russell, missing, low and away, ball 1, 1-0. A rough night for the Knights here in Corvallis, down 15-7, the bottom of the 8th. 9 straight victories coming in, so it just gives you an idea of how much of an anomaly this type of game is. Russell hits the ball hard again, but it's fielded on 1 hop by Grafton Stroop, who throws Maverick out. Carter Spites turns in a 1-2-3 inning for the Portland Pickles here in the bottom of the 8th. Quinn Dufort will go back to the mound as we go to the top of the 9th. The Pickles 15, the Corvallis Knights 7, back in 90 on the KBVR television stream and Joe Radio.
Introduce you all to volume 145, Roots. We've been continuously amazed at how OSU student artists have embraced our theme. We've been trending toward home, heritage, community, connection, and nature.
Leading off for the Pickles, number 9, Tony Otis.
Pickles leading the Knights 15-7. Tanner Douglas, or Quinn Dufort, pardon me, to the top of the 9th inning. His first pitch drilled by Tony Otis, but right at Brooks Avery. Brooks makes the catch. Brooks moving from shortstop to left field last inning. Quinn Dufort out of left field coming in. With apologies to Ray Milland. There's an old baseball movie there. Maybe it's called The Kid from Left Field, not Out of Left Field. I don't know if that's a Ray Milland vehicle or Ray Walston. Out of Left Field. Sydney, if you're listening, please look it up. Sydney Pointer, the creator of MLBeavs.com. Kid from left field, out of left field, something about left field. Dufort came in from out of left field to pitch.
He gets an out here on Otis. Now goes to work on Bryson Glasgow, the future Beaver. Glasgow takes low and away, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Quinn Dufort turns, comes to the plate. The 2-0 pitch, sprayed foul down the right field line, out of play. The count 2-1. It's been a pleasure to work with Nick Munoz throughout the night tonight here as part of the KBVR TV crew, working diligently throughout the evening, dealing with the setup, and things have gone fairly smoothly. There was a time period, I'm told, the graphics were down, but the hard work of the crew got everything restored. The 2-1 pitch missing high, and again, it's been a pleasure to work with Andy Sloan, Drew West, Ben Eggman, Caden Ross, Elijah Ziegler, Brady Elliott, Phoebe, Brian, Nick Munoz to my right, Stephen and Brady and Ethan, all part of the crew. The 3-1 pitch lifted to center field and deep. Back on the ball goes Brock Kettleson, just shy of the warning track in dead center. Makes the catch. 2 down. And Josh Schleichart will be the batter.
Good job with Kettleson keeping his eye on the ball and following it with the back pedal. And now the Beavers are starting to get into a rhythm here. Obviously a little too late, but at the same time, it's not enough time left to still show what you can do on the outfield.
You know, every once in a while, I mean, you're right about too late. You know, it was probably not going to happen tonight, but one never really knows.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know. How long have you been at Oregon State as a student?
I've been here about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a 2022 Pac-12 tournament game in Scottsdale in baseball. The strike 1 pitch to Schleichert in there for strike 2. The Beavers took a 21-12 lead into the bottom of the 9th inning and lost to UCLA. The strike 2 pitch. Now, it stands out in memory because that's about the only time I've ever seen such a thing happen. But it has happened. A 9-run lead blown and the Beavers lost. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Dufort to the plate and misses inside to Schleichert, ball 2, 2-2. Josh is grounded to short, single left, been hit by a pitch and scored, walked, intentionally walked and scored. Twice tonight, the Pickles have batted around. A 5-run 5th and a 6-run 8th. Schleichert swings and misses. And for the 3rd time in the game, but the first time since the 3rd inning, the Pickles go in order. Quinn Dufort strikes out Josh Schleichert. The Knights need 8 to stay alive. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Portland 15 and the Knights 7. We'll be back in 90 on the Knights and KBVR TV live stream and Joe Radio.
Introduce you all to volume 145, Roots. We've been continuously amazed at how OSU student artists have embraced our theme. We've been trending toward home, heritage, community, connection, and nature.
Coming to the plate is the sophomore from Portland, number 36, Trey Swigert.
9th inning. 15-7 Portland. Trey Swigert facing Carter Spites here in the bottom of the 9th. George Mike and Wayne Gretzky kind of number on the jersey for Spites. 99. You don't see that in baseball.
No, you don't.
Pitch to Swigert, misses for ball one, 1-0. Carter works out of the stretch. Swigert, big swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. Trey has singled to left, walked, singled and scored again. A good night for Trey. He's hit the ball hard. 7 runs, 11 hits. Normally that's enough to win a ball game for the Knights, but Portland 15 runs and 16 hits. Swigert hammers one to deep center. Back goes Otis, has a play, turns and makes the catch on the run. That ball was well struck by Trey Swigert, but an out. One away in the bottom of the ninth. Cole Katayama Stahl, the batter.
Excellent hit by Swigert. And it's, again, good time to show off what you can do late here. Give him your chance to show what you have and put it on full display. That was a beauty of a hit.
It was. And a nice catch, too, by Otis getting a good read. But you're absolutely right. The category... Under the category, everything matters, including, even in a sense, a game that's out of hand.
Right.
The Knights are not, they're not going to win this ball game. Cole Katayama Stahl takes low and away, ball one. Portland leading 15-7, 1 out, nobody on, bottom of the ninth. But all of these guys, great aspirations in the game. Every at-bat matters. So that was a good swing for Swigert, and as disappointed as he will be and the whole team will be in the team defeat, the guys are still playing to get their best, as you put it, show what they can do, their best shots in here down the stretch. The pitch to Katayama Stahl misses for ball 2-0. Carter Spites delivers, slice down the left field line towards the vacated TNT Builders party deck. The youngsters give chase up to the deck, but I think that ball bounded away and out of the ballpark. The kids aren't giving up on it, though. They're giving chase, but I think in vain. 2-0 to Katayama Stahl. 15-7 Portland, bottom of the ninth. Spikes his fastball, misses low and in. 3-1 the count to Cole, who was singled to left and scored, walked, been hit by a pitch and scored, and flied to left. The 3-1 pitch taken for a strike, and the count goes full to 3-2. Antonio Castro on deck. Carter Spites following Nick Bakura, Connor Hale, Liam Golden, and Ari Kligman delivers whack to center, but right at Tony Otis. 2 down. Another good swing, but another out.
It was an exceptional hit there by Otis, and again, by Sal. It was a great job to drive the field long.
Andy. We had a pretty good ball game from Xavier Rios, too, but we'll go with Swigert. The strike one pitch to Blake Wilson, getting his first at-bat of the game. He came on when the Knights lost their designated hitter to play shortstop. Quinn Dufort coming in from left field to pitch. Blake Wilson now in the shortstop position with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 down. The Knights down to their final out. The 1-1 pitch, tap foul at the plate, and the count 1-2. Well, Nick, we're coming down to it. It's been fun working with you. Good luck this fall with the Oregon State broadcast on KBVR. Great job tonight. I really enjoy your work, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
I hope so too, Mike. Thank you for your time. I'm really hopeful we can see each other soon again.
Yeah, and good luck in the fall with Beaver Sports and throughout the fall and winter and spring seasons. I hope to be seeing more of you and hearing more of you. You do a great job, and I think if you want to be the next Al Michaels, you can be. Good luck to you, Nick, and thanks for taking time on the broadcast tonight.
Absolutely.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, 15-7 Pickles. Carter Spites looking for the final out. The right-hander from the stretch delivers, and he gets it. Breaking ball, swung on and missed, strike 3. The Pickles take game 1, and in the process, Portland has set a single-season record for most wins in West Coast League history as they improve to 43-9.
The Pickles take round one of what we think is going to be a pretty good heavyweight fight in the next couple of days to come and next week in the postseason. The Pickles 15 and the Corvallis Knights 7, our final score. Thanks again, Nick. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, Rob.
That's Nick Munoz working with yours truly, Mike Parker, on the broadcast tonight. And again, our thanks to producer Andy Sloan and the rest of the crew. We hope you enjoyed the live stream on KBVR TV as well as the broadcast here on Joe Radio. We'll be back again tomorrow night at 6:30 for Game 2. The Knights and the Pickles, with the Knights trying to right themselves, feel better about themselves heading into the second season, which begins on Friday. But still, 2 ball games to go against the Pickles tomorrow night and Wednesday. We hope you make your plans to join us. Again, our final score, Portland 15, the Corvallis Knights 7. For Nick Munoz, this is Mike Parker. Thanks for joining us on the KBVR TV stream and 1240 Joe Radio. So long, everybody.